and welcome to the Owlet Miners Grand Finals. I'm Spaceman, and I'm joined by Suds and Bubbles. And Suds, Otter Oxide versus Flashpoint. We are finally here in the Miners Grand Finals.
You are absolutely right, and this is going to be a hype match if we've had one, because this is the 1 and 2 seed coming out of the group play of this tournament, and we actually saw them go up against each other twice during the regular season, and they're 1 and 1 in their head-to-head record. So this could definitely go either way. It's a total completely up to how these teams play today, and I mean, I think they're going to really put on a show for us. We've been hearing from them that they have been practicing their little hearts out and are ready to go.
I bet they are. I had the pleasure of casting Otter Oxide yesterday, and they were a fantastic team to watch. There's a couple of players I'm going to be looking out for specifically in tonight's matchup. First there being Bird. She's an absolutely fantastic Pharaoh, was pumping out a lot of damage yesterday, and I fully expect to see the same this evening as well. And another player that really impressed me was the Litcat on the Zenyatta yesterday. There was a time on their match on Hanamura where they were coming up against an EMP, and Litcat had obviously predicted this ultimate, stayed out of the way. The rest of Otter Oxide were caught in this EMP, and Litcat just managed to use the Transcendence, keep the team alive. So some very, very smart play as well. So I'm looking out for some really smart ultimates coming out of Litcat, but the whole team is pretty stacked here. You know, you got Pie Ninja, Xavier EXT, Bowler Bowls is hitting some massive shatters yesterday. The tank lineup here is going to be super, super important because, correct me if I'm wrong, Suds, but Flashpoint's tank lineup is pretty damn good.
Oh yeah, Flashpoint's tank line is one of the best in the Miners League for sure. I mean, you've got Piper is back in here on that main tank role, and Grumpy Kitten here ready to run that Diva and whatever other off tanks we need to see today. But in addition to that, the backline for this Flashpoint team is just absolutely insane, with Paco El Taco sitting back there on your flex support, and you've got Rainbow doing work on that Mercy Lucio, trying to hit those big beats whenever necessary. So I am super excited to see this.
Well, I'm super excited to get underway. So just to let everyone know, this is a best of 7, so we've got a lot of Overwatch. It's going to be a really close match by all accounts, but we've got two casters that I'm sure are putting their popcorn down, putting their drinks down right now, and scrambling to their headphones to get this cast underway. So, Otohori, Pulse, take it away.
Thank you very much, Spaceman. Thank you, Suds and Bubbles. Hello, everyone, and good evening, and welcome to the Miners Grand Final of the Owlet Tournament. I am your caster, Hotohori, joined as always as with my hetero life partner, Pulse. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good, Hoto. That's one way to introduce me.
Oh, yeah.
I'll take it.
So we're here, best of 7, top 2 teams here in the Miners division. Both teams have been looking forward to this matchup for a while now. Both teams are ready. They're psyched. Pulse, this is going to be a battle of attrition. With this being a best of 7, some strategy might be coming into play here with some maps that both teams are not going to be very happy with regards to the map rotation. We're going to be starting here on Lijiang Tower and in Control Center here just to start off with, but it's going to be one of those things. Fatigue will actually come into play here, which is not something that both teams are probably going to be used to.
Definitely not. Very few people, honestly, especially at our level, play this many games in a row unless you just really go ham and comp all the time. And it's one of those things that not a lot of people think about, but after that 3rd or 4th match, people get tired. Like, you start making mistakes you don't make in the first map, so things get a little bit wonky in that sense.
Yeah, and as that's going to come through, you're going to see maybe slight mistakes come out from both teams here, and it's those mistakes here that can cost you a championship. So both teams here are getting ready to attack. I see Maze on both sides, so they're going to be trying to wall off each other as they're going to engage. Let's start this grand final here between Flashpoint and Otter Oxide, as both teams are going to get ready to come in. Otter Oxide here in red, and Flashpoint will be in blue. It looks like the members of Otter Oxide here definitely just going to go to the up top, but 2 early kills here from Flashpoint are just going to stop Otter Oxide dead in their tracks. They had issues on Lijiang yesterday when they were playing in their semifinal match. Doesn't look like changed much, as it looks like Flashpoint here are going to take the early take here on Flashpoint, and we're coming off with a pause here, as it looks like some technical issues happening here on the side of Otter Oxide.
Totally a tactical pause, I'm sure, but As when you're running these mirror Mei comps on Control Center, generally the first person to find that wall, the first Mei to find that wall, so Boots and Famsu, the two players we're looking at, is going to be the one to open up that fight. And that's exactly what happened. Boots got a little bit ahead, found the wall in the main tank that got it, and they've just used that pressure to push forward and completely win the fight. I'm sure that technical difficulty on the side of Otter Oxide didn't help at all, but that fight was pretty much closed as soon as that first wall went up.
Yeah, and like the way they had positioned it, it made it really, really hard for Otter Oxide to sort of come through that area as their team was really cut off. Litcat going down really didn't help them at all, but now with a real advantage here, as Litcat is going to have to wait to come back, they're going to be able to sort of shut them off with regards to sort of coming in. So is this a time in which I know that the team is probably going to have to sort of wait and make sure, but knowing that there's going to be a Mei here on the other side here from Flashpoint, they're going to probably have to come in and go a different way, right? Because they can't waste time getting sort of separated out, trying to come into the main area and then just losing one person one at a time.
They definitely don't want to do that, but there's actually a good strategy since they're running the counter Mei already. Mei's wall ability gives you a very good defensive position. So generally what you do is you run the Mei, you hold up in this front white room right in the lobby, and you can wall off teams as they walk in. But the attacker Mei can turn their wall sideways so that you can't block the entire doorway with a single wall. So it's kind of advantageous to run the counter Mei into this.
Yeah, so it looks like both teams are back now as the pause will start. It will be Flashpoint here who will get the initial take. But the members of Otter Oxide here have decided that they're just going to sort of flank around and not even going to deal with this room as they sort of move into the center area here. And now looks like 5 members here are going to sort of flank around. They're just going to leave Flashpoint here onto the point and going to try to find an area. Looks like the majority of team going under the high ground, Pulse. What could it be thinking?
Yeah, if they drop onto the point this way, there's no way for the Mei to wall them off. They can't get the angle that they need. So they're just bypassing that wall entirely. But Sakura falls, and they kind of have to fall down just to make sure that they don't get separated. Yeah,
and they immediately already gain about 90% of the point here. Earthshatter coming out from Piper is going to slow down the team a little bit, but they lose Xavier and Bird right away, so it looks like Flashpoint here will still have the advantage 6v4, 6v5, as it looks like the remaining members here of Otter Oxide just having no answer here as they will go back to the spawn here and reset. Flashpoint here already at 42%, looking good here on Control Center.
Very good too, especially considering that there's no ultimates on the side of the attackers right now. Red team. And from the defense, we have a rally and we have a Transcendence already online. The only thing they need to watch out is the Shatter coming through from Xavier. But if Piper is able to block it, then this fight's closed out pretty soon.
Yeah, so it looks like here Otter Oxide are going to need to make sure that they do get a good movement here and good defensive wall here and a big shatter here. No block there from Piper as he gets taken out right away. Boots goes down along with him, and now it is a 6v4 fight here on the fight of Otter Oxide as they're going to be pushing in, trying to see if they can finish off people. But a Mei ult here going to be used, I think, a little unnecessarily. They might have had that fight already, but they're just trying to assure themselves the point here. They're going to turn it as soon as they finish off all the members here of Flashpoint. Looks like they're back they go, but they're going to give up about 83%.
83% is close, but no cigar. So even if Flashpoint take this point, Otter Oxide will have another chance to attack, which is good for them. And because they didn't get up to that 86, 87% range where that happens, this fight is not going to be ended on a single win from Flashpoint. They need to make sure they can get in here without getting separated from Famsu, and then they have a chance to drop Boots' Blizzard to close out a fight, though.
Yeah, Famsu not going to be using the wall here. They're going to use the grab instead as Transcendence comes out, will block off everything, but a counter Mei ult here will freeze the members here of Otter Oxide. There's nothing they can sort of do to stop it. Paco El Taco finishes off Xavier, and down goes both tanks as Piper goes down too. So big losses on both sides here. Now it's just going to be a matter of who can finish off who, as Litcat, though, trying to sort of stay alive there into the background as he's getting a Grumpy Kitten trying to finish off that Zen, who's going to be contributing a lot of damage, but Boots goes down as Litcat was able to finish him off. So now it is another member go down as they're just trading kills left and right here, but the advantage here definitely with Otter Oxide is they're going to be able to push Flashpoint back. Paco El Taco finally finishes off Litcat, but this fight is over.
This fight is completely over. They stalled out. They get around 60% while the regroup's coming through, and now we see the tables have turned. Flashpoint right now is at a disadvantage. They don't really have ults coming on. Paco Taco and Grumpy Kitten will get their ultimates in this fight because they're so close already, 70, 80%. As long as they don't die first, this could be quite a brawl, but Famsu has that Blizzard to close them out as they're walking in.
Yeah, that Blizzard's going to be huge here from FAMSU. It's just going to be a matter of when they catch them, because remember, you want to use that percentage to your advantage. So now the wall comes up here, counter wall coming up, so it's actually shrunk the area. Here comes the freeze. Let's see who they get. Ronaldo trapped in there. Down he goes as Piper gets taken down too. Great usage of the mail there. A Graviton comes out as Litcat will have to use the Transcendence here to make sure that everybody sort of stay alive, but not enough offense here to come through, as Grumpy Kitten had to use the Graviton on there just to make sure that they still had a chance. We're at 99% here, and now it's just a matter of cleanup. Piper and Ronaldo trying to come back. Wall will try to slow him down, and they absolutely do so. Otter Oxide here get first blood here on Lijiang Tower.
A little bit weak on that first fight, but they fixed every problem that they were having and were able to turn it eventually off of FAMSU's Blizzard. So really good use from the Mei. They were using it a little bit more effectively. Both teams were playing around the Mei very well, though. They were taking paths where the wall wouldn't be as effective as you'd normally see. So it's good that both teams are adapting to this fast, and that sets us up for a really good match.
Yeah, it really, really does. As you see, Bird here on the from Otter Oxide will be going onto the Pharah. Disappoint will be going to the Mercy here, so just going to make sure to support Bird up in the air. On the other side, though, Ronaldo actually will go to the Pharah, but doesn't look like maybe Rainbow will try to boost them out and then switch to the Mercy. There it is. So we've got an air battle here straight up here between the two teams. Bird is going to be very, very vicious here on that Pharah, so we're going to follow her along just to make sure that if she can get any kills. Ronaldo, though, gets first blood, is able to get FAMSU off of the bridge as they were going through the main, and Ronaldo here going to be the big Pharah on the block as he takes down Litcat too. Just all wrong here from Otter Oxide. They start this fight really, really badly, but Bird trying to even up the fight will take Boots out, but most of the members here from Flashpoint will establish the point, and it's going to be a little bit of a slow going here coming in from Otter Oxide as they're going to have to switch gears and go through the shaded area.
They are, and this is a little bit disadvantageous to Bird, because as Bird's coming around, they're going to have to be out in the open a little bit just so that she can do damage and be effective, but her whole team is away from her, so Ronaldo's just getting all this free damage in, and Bird is just getting zoned out completely by the entire team.
Yeah, and like the thing about it is there's just nowhere that she can sort of pick off people as the rest of the members are just trying to sort of advance on the point. They really do need to take this point in order to give Bird the advantage, but a barrage already coming out by Ronaldo here gets slept in the air and immediately taken out here, so they do earn the advantage as FAMSU is able to demech Grumpy Kitten. Fight will still go on the point, but Ronaldo got res in the middle of that. Great transcendence here by Paco El Taco, making sure that everybody sort of stays alive. Diva Bomb gets sent into the background there, will finish off Ronaldo as the fight will continue on to the point, but remember, control here with Flashpoint as it looks like they're just going to be 1-2ing the rest of the members here of Otter Oxide, and they will continue here already at 55%.
And it's worth noting, too, that Boots swapped Widow after that first death as Tracer, so they're coming up on walls, and it puts a lot of pressure on Bird between Ronaldo and Boots being two somewhat decent Pharah counters. Just, you have the Diva, you have the Pharah, you have the Widow, so Bird is very much being focused right now, and this is entirely the strat that they're running.
Yeah, and but where Bird's body was left, she fell into the hole, so not going to be resable there by the members of Otter Oxide, and they realize that, so it looks like they're just going to reset, make sure that they are going to fight this full 6. They're already at 85% here, and Flashpoint looking good on this map, and the attack hasn't occurred yet. This might be their final chance going in.
This is definitely last fight territory, and they're not even really set up to touch a point, so it's going to be a staggering onto the point from Otter Oxide if they even want to try and contest this in time.
Yeah, so here comes the engage now. Paco El Taco actually able to take out Litcat before the fight even started here. So now it looks like Otter Oxide having some serious issues, though they do even up the fight here as Bird gets taken out, but not before Bird took out Piper. The res comes in here as it looks like a barrage coming out from Ronaldo here is going to do massive damage as Paco El Taco in the background is going to be able to finish 2 off, and now it looks like Otter Oxide are just going to be fighting for their lives here on this point. They're going to need to get something to turn around, but unfortunately Litcat just trying to sort of stall in there with Xavier trying his best to just sort of go in. It looks like we're going 3 as Flashpoint looked dominant there on Garden.
And that leaves us with Night Market for the 3rd round. So Night Market's a map where you can keep running that far if you want, but honestly, it looks like Flashpoint had Bird's number that entire 2nd round. They knew the Pharah was going to come out. That's one of her signature heroes. So they prepped for it. They ran full dive. They made sure that Ronaldo and Boots got all of the pressure, that all of the support they needed in order to pressure Bird, and she wasn't really able to do anything because of it. When you're being that hard focused, it's just one of those moments where sometimes you have to change up your strategy, and they didn't really look like they had a backup for Gardens in particular.
Yeah, and the thing about it is I think they weren't a little bit single-minded going into Gardens, trying to sort of depend a lot on Bird, making sure that she was going to get those initial kills. But you can't sort of knock. Ronaldo was huge on that point, getting that early kill onto Famsu and just not allowing him to sort of come in on that McCree to just sort of put down some damage and give Bird some cover. So it's going to be very, very problematic there if the DPS from Otter Oxide are just not going to be able to put down damage. It'll be free reign here coming in from Flashpoint. So they've got to make sure that that actually is settled in. But we're tied at 1s here going into the tiebreaker match. Tiebreaker map, excuse me. Both teams here are going to looking like they're going with Winston's here. As I say that, Xavier switches to the Reinhardt and Bird goes to the Brigitte. So it looks like possibly a Super Cree coming out here from Otter Oxide.
Very much a Super Cree comp. And they're running it. I think they expect the FAR to be coming out again. This is going to be a composition with very strong point control. So as long as they can get to the point first and maintain control of it, they should be able to keep winning these fights. But Famsu gets a little bit split from the rest of his team.
Yeah, he's got to stay alive here. The whole point of this comp is just to let Famsu do damage, as Piper is going to wrap around here, try to sort of get on the point from a side that's not necessarily normal here. Both supports go down here for Otter Oxide, and this is not good, as the fight has just not gone their way. The members of Flashpoint here are able to just sort of come on in and exert their dominance, and down go all of the member of Otter Oxide here, as Flashpoint will take the point here and take the early advantage.
Paco Taco has been doing absolutely so much work as this Zenyatta. I think that's the most I've ever seen a Zenyatta on the kill side of Jonak in Overwatch League. So they're very much depending on all of the pressure coming out from the Zen. They're basically treating him like an extra DPS. And now, since they have control of this point, they have Ronaldo, they have Widow. This is going to be a very hard point to make your way into, just because you're going to be eating so much damage from all of the DPS coming through.
Yeah, and Ronaldo already getting 2 kills here with Grumpy Kitten and Xavier. Grumpy Kitten taking down Xavier too. Otter Oxide are in trouble here because they're looking a little flustered coming into this map, and they're just not surviving a lot of the spam. There are a lot of squishies here on their side, so they've got to be very, very cognizant about what Ronaldo's going to do. He's got barrage up and walls are up too, so this could be very, very problematic from Otter Oxide on an engage perspective.
Yeah, and it is a little interesting because Xavier swapped over the Winston from the Ryan, Famsu switched to the Ashe. So your composition's not a little bit as tight-knit as you'd want it to be, but they're doing this just so they have some option for the Widow as well.
Yeah, as the engage actually will start. Nobody gets taken down there. Finally, though, Litcat gets taken down, so losing the Zen here for the side of Otter Oxide is going to be huge. And there go both supports, as it looks like Disappoint just unable to sort of survive. Bomb gets sent in to just sort of clear off anybody here remaining on the point. Actually, Paco El Taco burns the Transcendence here. Probably didn't necessarily need to there. Maybe they can exploit that, but we're in one-fight territory.
We are, and with the late switch from Famsu onto... Ooh, another switch coming out. So Famsu's now on the Widow. But with all these late switches come through, there's going to be very few ultimates that can attack properly into this defense set up by Flashpoint. They do have this Diva Bomb and they have a Transcendence, but Litcat falls early.
Oh, and Ronaldo taking out Sakura's mech, and now it's just going to be a matter of a fight on the point, but they're going to fight short-handed here. Nothing really they can do as all the members of Otter Oxide go down here, and it's going to be a repeat of yesterday, I think. They lost Lijiang Tower yesterday in their semifinal match. They're going to be one down here to Flashpoint, and that's not where they want to be.
Absolutely not. Taking that early map, especially in the long haul, because as we mentioned earlier, this is effectively a best of 7. Mm-hmm. It's going to be hard, especially you never want to be playing from behind if you can help it.
Yeah, and here we see the play of the game here by Ronaldo here. It was basically like shooting fish in a barrel, unfortunately, as Otter Oxide sort of trapped themselves in there, had the barrage. He was doing and laying down a lot of damage, and Paco El Taco was just so good from the back, just making sure those orbs hit. It was very, very dominant there after that initial sort of first round where they were having a little bit of issue there in Control Center, but Flashpoint righted the ship right away with 2 100-0s.
Yeah, and one thing that I really liked from Otter Oxide in the first map, Control Center, that we didn't really see in the latter two, was their ability to adapt. Like, as soon as the Mei came out, they knew that they were running into a Mei, so they started going on rotations explicitly to counter that Mei. But when you're running that far a Widow, I don't think they respected it the same amount as Mei walls, and they kept going to that high ground, which you can't do against a Pharah and Widow, because once you're up there, there's only... The Widow can literally hard scope the corner, and the Pharah can just float above, like we saw in the play of the game, just rain damage into them. And because of that, they were dead every single time they tried to even get out into the courtyard.
Yeah, so it was somewhat problematic, and they just didn't have an answer for all of that spam damage coming through. So it is 1-0 to Flashpoint here, and in this sort of format of 7, substitutions are going to be very, very big here. So it looks like Otter Oxide here are going to make the first move here with 3 substitutions on their side. It looks like Xavier, Litcat, and Famsu are going to stay, but Brutal One, Pie Ninja, and Bowl of Bowls going to be coming in here for Otter Oxide. This, I think, is a smart move. They're trying to sort of deal with this fatigue, but they do need to win a map here as we go into Rialto, which is going to be our next map. And Rialto here, very much a sort of GOATS map, so maybe they're sort of making sure that they move in a little bit of a couple of tank specialists, maybe update their lineup here to go up against Flashpoint in this particular case?
Well, this is very much... I sort of expected these subs coming out, because this is exactly what they did for Rialto last night against their opponent. They came in with Brutal One on the Widow. So I have mixed feelings about Brutal One on Widow, because Brutal One is absolutely an amazing Widow player, but Rialto is a very tank-heavy map. And part of the reason Brutal One found so much value in Rialto, because as soon as Brutal One came in, the cart more or less never stopped rolling. They capped, I believe, in like 5 minutes and 10 seconds left on the clock, so beating Vancouver's time pretty much. But the one thing that I don't like about their opponents never adjusted to is they didn't swap to that tank composition until really late. So they were playing into a 2-2-2 comp, and Brutal One was just continually going up, getting all these stagger kills, but there's no composition swaps to counter it, especially for the type of map Rialto is. Like, you want to be playing tanks on Rialto, which is something that Widow is not very effective against.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if that's what they do here. So it looks like Otter Oxide here, with losing the previous map, does have the option to attack or defend. They've decided to attack first. So very interesting here. Usually on escort maps, you're trying to sort of figure out what your team is going to do and maybe set yourself a win condition. But it looks like Otter Oxide here, very, very confident going into Rialto. Let's see if they actually will go with that Widow comp that you actually mentioned, or if Flashpoint comes out. This is the issue is here is Flashpoint will have the disadvantage of being on defense. So possibly if Otter Oxide does see like a heavy tank comp lineup come out here from Flashpoint, possibly a GOATS or maybe a triple tank combination of some sort come out from Flashpoint, maybe we don't see the Widow come out from Otter Oxide.
Yeah, and again, that's one of those things that I would have to hope for, that these players are smart. They're in the finals. They made it this far. We've seen them make adjustments on the fly. Sometimes you get a little bit caught up in the heat of the moment, and especially on Koth, the time banks are so short, the maps are so short individually, that if you lose the first fight, it's sometimes hard to come back. But with a longer form map like Rialto, I would hope that they'd be able to play around composition switches like that. So if you know that Brutal One's coming out on Widow, gets like 5 or 6 heads, and then it's going up for staggers, you wait and spawn, you like come back out 6, you maybe play tanks if you're not already playing tanks on Rialto just because of how strong it is, things like that.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what is going to be set up here from both sides as we are in the assembly phase. So just as a little bit of a recap, Flashpoint just won Lijiang Tower. They're up 1-0 here in this grand final of the Owlet Miners Division Grand Final here, presented by Broadcast GG. So thank you for the members of Broadcast GG for helping with putting on these finals here. And shout out to Noella, who is our lobby host. So early shout outs here for the members of the admin team who are helping put on this grand final. 8 seconds left to go. We're going to see what Flashpoint come up with. And when it comes to defense here, it's going to be very, very telling, because Otter Oxide will have the advantage. And it looks like Piper here going with the Orisa. So not necessarily a GOATS comp here. So we've got Orisa Diva with a 2-2-2 coming out here from Flashpoint. So this could actually play into Brutal One's Widow here.
Potentially. I know Brutal One was definitely on the winning side of many sniper duels. I haven't seen Brutal One go against Boots, so if they trust in Boots Widow, and Boots Widow honestly looked very good last round, then this could be something that doesn't work out the same way it did for Otter Oxide last night.
And it looks like here the members here of Flashpoint are going to sort of hold up a little farther back around the corner, so they will give up a little bit of early space here. Just to let the sort of payload move in. On the side of Otter Oxide here, Bowl of Bowls and Pie Ninja going a little bit with the Winston Diva here, so they're going to depend on the mobility and try to sort of attack that high ground position where Flashpoint is located. Pie Ninja actually is able to take Boots out, so they don't really have to worry about the Widow on the far side until he got rezzed. So Bowl of Bowls, though, gets taken down, and the payload coming around the corner, it's going to hit a hard spot here, but it is going to be the members of Otter Oxide just going to keep that sort of payload moving, as Piper not going to be really able to do anything with that Orisa. He's going to have to rotate around. Paco El Taco, along with the rest of his team, going to get taken out. Boots gets taken down again. Pie Ninja is going to get back into the mech here, and Otter Oxide looked very, very good on Rialto as this fight continues. Big grenade here will hit Piper and Rainbow as they both have to sort of abandon ship, and this has been non-stop territory here for Otter Oxide. They've looked good on this map so far.
Yeah, definitely. By pushing through, they're going to make it all the way to point A, just because that was kind of one long extended fight. Generally in Rialto, you get like 2 or 3 fights, but just the nature of the composition that the defense ran didn't allow them to do that. So everyone's going to get spawned early. They'll be able to take a fight on bridge if they want, and they're coming out on that triple comp now. They're running 3 tanks, 3 supports. Definitely probably because of Brutal One to an extent, but also because of so much pressure coming out from this tank lineup.
Yeah, as they do trade kills here on the side of here of Otter Oxide, but it looks like they've taken the slight advantage as Brutal One was able to take out Ronaldo here, and the payload is still slightly moving as it looks like Famsu is able to take out Paco El Taco, who's been a nuisance in the side here of Otter Oxide. As at 4:45, they're moving and hustling with 4 ults here. Flashpoint are in trouble if they don't get a good stop here on point 2.
They really need to set up, and they definitely want to set up right at this choke if they can. Everyone's finally respawned. Ronaldo's a little bit far up, but you can't punish a Brig. So as this Diva Bomb comes through, this has a chance to open up the fight with a 3 kill.
Oh, on the back of that EMP, that was a great combo there, and it is Otter Oxide who are going to win this fight super clean. They're going to cap point B here and keep moving. Look at this time bank, folks. They're going to finish out point B with over 4 minutes to go, and we're at 5:39, and they haven't stopped.
They really haven't, and Paco El Taco finally takes down Bowl of Bowls there. And the Diva Bomb, I've never seen that positioning, but that was really cool. It slid down the roof, demeched the Diva, and this cart's now in control of the defense for the first time on this map.
Yeah, and this is finally time. Looks like Flashpoint's finally got some breathing space, as it looks like they were just sort of powered through all the way to point B. So now here is the time. Bowl of Bowls here with the ult, but 2 ults on the other side. They do have a Transcendence on the defense here, so they will be able to sort of save themselves as they sort of come through. Support ults here on the side of Otter Oxide here. Xavier really close to that ult, so possibly going to be moving on that, but I think a lot of dry pushing here from the side of Otter Oxide, as it looks like Xavier here is going to go deep here, try to sort of move the members of Flashpoint using that Winston ult, trying to see if he can separate that team, try to team up, but it looks like Bowl of Bowls gets taken out. A big shatter comes out from Piper. He catches everybody, and now it looks like Otter Oxide here are going to have to abandon ship, as it looks like all of the members are going to have to go back to spawn, but they've got plenty of time here on the clock with 4:30 ready to go for them to push on point C.
And Rialto point C is one of those positions in Overwatch where it's very hard to break, so this is definitely Flashpoint's best chance in this entire map to defend. We finally see the mirror matchup fully completing, Bull switching over to that Ryan and resetting his ult after using the Prime on Winston, but with everything online for the defense, this is going to be hard to push.
Yeah, Graviton actually comes out here, will catch the members of Otter Oxide as Piper and Viper takes out both Bowl of Bowls and Famsu. They're having a really hard time getting through this, like, sort of sort of arch area here, as like Flashpoint finally has decided they do not want to give up any more space, and they force Otter Oxide back here. They're going to have to fight them straight up, as looks like more ults coming online here for the members of Otter Oxide as they starting to reset and come through, as this fight will continue here. And now Bowl of Bowls coming through. He doesn't want to press that F key. He wants to keep pushing on to Piper, but Piper just does not want to give up any space onto him. And now this payload's starting to creep on up the little hill here, as now a Shatter will try to come out here. Not real. Oh, and it will catch a couple of members. Lucio coming out here on the side of Flashpoint as they're trying to come through and sort of push through, but it has not moved yet, as Piper getting the better of that fight with Bowl of Bowls. Graviton comes out as a bomb gets sent into the back area, but nothing going to be able to block that shield, as it looks like Flashpoint here will get the better of Otter Oxide again. Paco El Taco with a huge kill onto the Brutal One as they push him back. 2:30 here on the clock. They've killed about 2.5 minutes here in this small area. Pulse's Flashpoint looking very, very good here on the C defense.
And the only thing really in favor of Otter Oxide on that point is they managed to more or less drain the alt bank of the defense. Piper, thankfully, just from swinging his hammer so much, got another Shatter, which is exactly what they have to use to close out this fight, because that's the only option they have right now.
Yeah, absolutely. They need to get him down because he's just been a stalwart there. And another Shatter comes in. We'll catch Famsu here on the left as he's trying to see if he can actually get anybody he can. But Piper actually goes a little too deep, gets taken down here. And now that's going to allow Bowl of Bowls with an open Shatter. Takes down both Paco El Taco and Grumpy Kitten as they get demeched. And now finally that opening with Piper down, they're able to exert a little bit of offense here. And now they're going to try to come in and keep a Flashpoint here close to spawn.
And they have options to roll this too, because there are no support ultimates up from the defense. They have Transcendence online. That's the only thing really for the attack, and there's a Diva Bomb. So they definitely need to use this Transcendence aggressively to make sure that they can close out this fight and win this map.
Bob gets sent into the background, though. That's not what they wanted on the side of Otter Oxide, as two go down. Famsu and Brutal One just not aware, maybe, where that bomb was actually going to be, as it looks like Bowl of Bowls is going to be taken down, and we're into a territory where it is very, very hard to push. 1:30 here left on the clock, and a lot of teams here will stall out on this point. This is notoriously brutal to actually finish.
Thankfully, the cart's no longer at the choke, so they're able to push that a little bit easier now. They don't have any support ults, though, so Otter Oxide really needs to make sure that they play a little bit safe, take some poke damage while they get this online, but that Shatter's closing things out pretty fast.
Oh, great flank Shatter there by Piper, but it cost him his life. But the rest of the members here at Flashpoint are going to make up for it, as too many members here of Otter Oxide go down. We're down to a minute left here, as it is going to be Flashpoint just sort of holding them off. Otter Oxide here waiting for the rest of their members to sort of come back and view this push. 50 seconds here left on the clock, and here they go. We're in pretty much almost last fight territory here, as this is going to probably be the last 6v6 as we come in. They're going to move on in. Rally's going to come out here on the side of Otter Oxide. Oh! Grumpy Kitten just ate Brutal One's grab, and that was huge. They needed that grab in order to see if they could win this fight, but now down two. They're going to have to reset real quick with only 25 seconds left to go.
They're still picking up kills, though. Rainbow closing out Brutal One, Grumpy Kitten closing out Lit Cat, so the Cat's having a little bit of a cat fight there, but with this last fight territory, they're going to have to stall all the way to point, and there's really no offensive defensive alt right now, so they don't have Shatter, they don't have Grab, they don't have Bomb, but they do have that beat that they have.
Yeah, and here it is, folks. They need to touch that point as 2 seconds left to go as bombs get sent into the air. Lucio will save everyone. That bomb was right in the middle of everybody. Unfortunately, not going to be able to take anybody down. So this is it, folks. Who's going to win this fight? As it looks like Pie Ninja is able to take down Piper, and the last time Piper went down, the rest of Flashpoint went with him. So it looks like here, Otter Oxide looking really, really good here. It's down goes Boots and Grumpy Kitten getting demeched. They're going to use the overtime spawn advantage here to push on through, so down go the members here of Flashpoint. There's going to be about one fight left, but it's going to be stall territory coming out here from Flashpoint.
Yeah, and especially with all the spawn advantage, as you're in the clock and overtime, defensive spawns get longer as long as you have this advantage. Piper falling out with a big Shatter to start off this fight.
But a Transcendence here by Litcat is going to be huge, and it's going to keep everybody at least alive for the short term here. And now it's just going to be a matter of kills, and a big Shatter by Bowl of Bowls here. He's trying to finish off Boots, as well as a Graviton sort of coming in. But all the kills have been going the way of Otter Oxide. Paco El Taco with that Transcendence, unable to get back to the point, and they're able to finish. They needed every second of that 5 minutes plus to finish off Point C.
Yeah, normally Rialto is one of those maps where it's hard to finish Point C, but I would count that as a win from Flashpoint because they were able to recuperate after more or less losing Point A and B in the first 2 minutes.
And was that possibly just because of the way they sort of set up? Because they went with this sort of Orisa comp, maybe trying to sort of bunker in, but I don't think there was just enough spam damage to sort of slow down the members of Otter Oxide, who were being very, very aggressive and sort of pushing on that Orisa very, very like sort of strong, and just not allowing the rest of the members of like sort of Flashpoint to go anywhere with their defense.
Yeah, the one thing I didn't like about that composition specifically is it didn't look very solid, I guess is the word I'm thinking of, because you're running that Orisa, you're running the D.Va, so with that tank line you expect to run a bunker, but they had a Widow and a Pharah, which is something that doesn't synergize very well with an Orisa D.Va, because you need some sort of pressure behind an Orisa shield other than just the Orisa herself to keep the tanks from just diving up and killing people, which is exactly what we saw Bowl of Bowls and Pi Ninja do. They just kept taking turns jumping up on the Orisa and getting down for free, because there's only really the Orisa shooting at them and the D.Va when they popped up. So there wasn't sufficient pressure to make a bunker comp, but it was like half bunker, half dive, and kind of wishy-washy in that sense.
Yeah, caught between two mines here is not necessarily where you want to be. As it looks like here, the members of Otter Oxide are going to be setting up closer to the square, as they do have this sort of mobile comp with the Winston and the D.Va here, and it will be Ronaldo going back up into the air, because they know that dealing with Ronaldo and those rockets are going to be a little bit of a problem here. But but Brutal One able to win that sort of Widow fight here against Boots, as Boots gets taken down early. Famsu already in the background trying to build as much EMP as possible, as both sides running here with a Sombra, so possibly EMP battles, as Famsu finishes off Grumpy Kitten there, who was sort of skulking around in the background. And this payload is not moving very, very quickly, as it looks like the members here of Flashpoint are going back into spawn, maybe switching up the comp a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like they're going back and swapping immediately over to the triple comp, just because unless you can get that first pick, triple DPS won't take you very far in Rialto. A lot of high ground, it takes a lot of resources, and there's not really good health pack positioning. So they're finally switching over this tank composition, which means that Brutal One won't be able to find as much value on this Widow. But again, they can just sort of brawl this out on point until Flashpoint finally takes a win.
Yeah, Xavier, though, gets taken out there by Ronaldo, so losing the Lucio is going to be big, along with Famsu, too. So this tank comp already paying dividends here for Flashpoint, as now it's just going to be a matter of sort of killing some time here, as it looks like Bowl of Bowls here just in a duel with Piper, just trying to sort of stay alive and maybe just die on the point, just to keep that payload from moving any little more. 2:33 here left on the clock. They got plenty of time, but they're going to get another fight here right before point A.
They will get another fight, and if Famsu's able to build up this EMP in time, just get behind, maybe build up some charge, then they could win this off of an EMP just because of how strong that ultimate ability is. They do have a nano as well to help close it out, but both switching over this Reinhardt, so it looks like they're making the changes to get to a triple already.
Yeah, and they know that the time is going to be in their favor, so they just want to make sure to slow them down as best as they can. As it looks like here, both teams are going to be fighting right here onto the point. Famsu does get that EMP, as Bowl of Bowls is able to take down Ronaldo, so they're fighting the 6v5. So this is what you want to see here from Otter Oxide. Here comes the EMP, as Brutal One finishes off Paco El Taco, and Grumpy Kitten's going to get demeched, as now it is going to be Otter Oxide going to take a huge advantage into this fight. Piper's going to have to jump ship, as Grumpy Kitten's going to get hammered down, but not before she took out Litcat. But Litcat's going to be able to get back into this fight, and it's going to be a longer walk here for Flashpoint.
That EMP might have been a little much, but they definitely didn't want to lose this point. They might even have, because of that, they might have a chance to hold this at A still, which is always a good thing for the defense. So they're not coming in this next fight with an EMP. They're not running the Ana, so they're very low, or they're not running a Brig, so they're very low on heals. And this looks like they're just going to be able to run over the defense with this.
Yeah, it looks like here the defense here not going to be properly set up here, but a big shatter by Bowl of Bowls. If they can finish off Piper, they might not have a shield to defend from that bomb, and Pi Ninja is able to get two, and it's the two most important ones, the supports. They get taken down here, and we're down to 60 seconds, and Flashpoint here are down to about one fight here in the square. They've got to win it, or they're going to give up. They're going to give up Rialto and tie this matchup at 1.
I hate to be the person to take this down, but unless something happens, this should be Flashpoint's take on point A on this fight, because they have 3 support ults, the Graviton up, the defense doesn't even have a Brig, they do have the support ults to match, but again, with FAMSU falling early, getting caught out like that, trying to get a hack target and build that EMP, this is going to be a 6v5, and they should be able to take this. Yeah,
they're not on the point here, and they just have to end up giving it up for free here, as that free fight win will push through Otter Oxide here. They do get a fresh 230 to get them through the streets phase here, so lucky for them, that kill on FAMSU was huge. Not having him available for the fight just sort of ruined their defense, and now they're just sort of chugging along here with 230 here on the clock.
And they're pushing through. FAMSU, even though it has the EMP, probably should consider switching just because they are still low on this heal. EMP fights should be a free win, but the sooner they get this Brig online, really, the sooner it helps, because they're still very low on heals. They do have the trans, they did use the sound barrier, but with this Diva Bomb, they might not need anything else.
Yeah, it looks like here, that payload is still moving as they're trying to sort of eliminate the members here up on the high ground. Oh, Piper actually being able to charge through and finish off Xavier. That payload is still moving here. Pi Ninja is going to have to actually get onto the payload as a demech baby diva here in order to stop the payload from actually doing anything. As a charge coming in, Paco El Taco doing his best sort of Jonak impression, again taking 2 out, as that Zen has just been so huge. Xavier and Pi Ninja here trying their best to sort of prevent that payload from capping, as Pi Ninja finally is able to take out Paco El Taco, but the members of the defense here have got to get back soon, as it looks like Brutal One and it looks like Bowl of Bulls here are going to be able to come back. Finally, Piper and Boots here are going to be able to sort of push back and reset. They actually did it by the skin of their teeth, but with 120 left to go here, they're going to have maybe 1 fight left.
And what a weird fight that last one was. The cart never stopped moving. They almost sort of capped it underneath the nose of Otter Oxide just because they took the fight to the stairs. They pushed them all the way back. Pi Ninja, thankfully, turning around, realizing what was happening in time, was able to get back and contest. But if they killed Pi Ninja before he could remech, then they would have had B at this point. They are still playing into this EMP, which is the big fight ender for this next push, though.
Yeah, and FAMSU's going to need to hit a big one here, because if the EMP in some way does not actually hit everyone, they're going to be in deep, deep trouble, as the bomb will actually come through, as a charge comes in. Great charge there by Bowl of Bulls to open up the team, and now that bomb will finish off Boots and Ronaldo. Paco El Taco gets taken out too. They actually sort of fall back a little bit to the payload here, trying to make sure they don't get back up. 30 seconds left to go, but that fight was quick, so they've bought themselves another chance here to sort of finish off point B.
They bought him another chance, and they still have this EMP, which they've been holding on to for what feels like forever, because it's been up for a long time. They have an EMP, they have a trans, they also have a shatter, so honestly, they're probably looking for this EMP shatter right now, which could instantly end this fight and give the map to Otter Oxide.
Yeah, as FAMSU's looking for it now, there it is, and here comes the shatter. It's going to finish everybody off. Does somebody touch the payload? And absolutely does, but a big counter shatter here from Piper will catch members here of Otter Oxide, and now it's just a matter, can Otter Oxide clean up the members, as it looks like Grumpy Kitten Boots first to go down here, as it does not look good here for Flashpoint, as Piper finally goes down. Rainbow trying his best to survive onto the payload. Lucio trying to survive, not going to be able to do so. Overtime's going to tick down. Paco El Taco finally gets taken down here as overtime ticks down, and we have a match, folks. Strap on in. We're going to be in for a long ride as Otter Oxide evens up this match at 1.
Yeah, and this, I'm almost sure, is going to be some sort of EMP shatter coming through. Or, just shattering through the cart to cap point C. But that map looked pretty much all Otter Oxide from the very beginning. As soon as you opt to play a sniper duel into Brutal One, I haven't seen any other Widow in Miners look as good as Brutal One has on that Widow. So they had to swap to triple. I think they did come out with, I do think Flashpoint did go out initially with sort of what I would call a bad composition on defense, but they worked around it. They were able to cut off all of the time bank that they built up at point C from Otter Oxide. So a very Herculean effort there after capping point B, but at that point it was just a time game for Otter Oxide, and they were going to win the map.
Yeah, absolutely. Great play there from Otter Oxide. Let's see what our desk thinks about that. Spaceman and SudsNBubbles, take it away.
Thank you very much. We said there was going to be some good Overwatch this evening, and we are not disappointing. 1-1, but Flashpoint and Otter Oxide. Suds, we've had some great fun watching this so far. Let's go back all the way to Lijiang Tower and the control center and the maze there as well, because that was impressive from both teams.
Absolutely. As you say, we saw both teams run the May kind of goats composition for the entirety of that point, and both got some interesting usage out of their walls. We saw it open with a huge charge into a really well-placed wall behind the Reinhardt of Otter Oxide, and then we actually saw Otter Oxide use the wall kind of in an interesting way I hadn't seen before, putting it kind of perpendicular to a doorway to cover their entrance through that choke. And I thought that was just really creative from them and worked out really good.
And Otter Oxide ended up taking control center. And they were struggling a little bit on Gardens and on Night Market as well, where they were playing Reinhardt when perhaps they should have been playing more of a Winston-orientated composition, because Flashpoint were utilizing DPS very well to pump in a lot of damage through the Pharah and through Widowmaker, and Otter Oxide seemed to be struggling there.
Absolutely, and even when we did eventually see them switch over to Winston for a little bit, it just didn't look as strong as what Piper was showing us on the side of Flashpoint, as you say, on those second two maps. And then just the Pharah and Widowmaker damage, as well as Paco El Taco, who I know you were watching very closely there.
Well, before this match began, I said I was going to be watching out for Litcat, who's been doing a very good job on that Pinata. But his opposite number there, Paco El Taco, has been doing fantastic, some excellent positioning, making sure that he's not in the thick of it, but certainly just far away enough that he's not being pressured at all. And that's just allowing him to take some really good sight lines from the back line, pump in the damage, get those transcendences up very, very quickly. And Paco El Taco was in the kill feed a lot, so some great work from the back line of Flashpoint. But before we went into the series, we said this would be a game of front lines. We were talking about Lijiang Tower and the front line there of Otter Oxide, but there were some substitutions, some switches between there and Rialto, and Bowls came in, has been playing that Reinhardt, and playing that Reinhardt very, very well.
Absolutely. We saw him come in, and that allowed them to do that kind of just straight mirror goats v goats composition with the Reinhardt, with the Zenyatta. And Bowl of Bowls frontline, just space control and his ability to temper the aggression of Flashpoint and force them to use cooldowns has just been really, really good. So that's one of the things we actually talked about, was Flashpoint using a lot of cooldowns and then not finding a way to kind of reset and get those back so that they can continue those fights.
Yeah, when you're in those heavier compositions, you do need to soft disengage once you've utilized your cooldowns, because you've got nothing to work with for a good few seconds. Sometimes, it's worth it giving up a few meters of payload space to back off a bit, wait till your cooldowns come up again, and then become the aggressors. And speaking of aggressive play here as well, Brutal One, who I got to cast earlier in the week as well, fantastic DPS, fantastic Widowmaker. When playing the Zarya, though, there were a few times where there were some early bubbles for Bowler Bowls, quite selfish bubbles even, which allowed Brutal One to get ahead in the ultimate economy against their opposite number on Flashpoint there. But there were a few times where Bowl of Bowls was deleted almost instantaneously because those bubbles weren't there. Whereas on the other side, Flashpoint were playing a little bit more passively, and that was working fairly well, although Piper, on a couple of occasions, was trying some cheeky shatters, cheeky charges, a few of which paid off and were very, very impressive, but did pay for some of them with his life, and you can't really afford to do that on the defense.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing that stood out for me from Otter Oxide there on Rialto was they were running FAMSU on the Sombra for a lot of that, and they were finding really good combos with the EMP throughout. We were seeing EMP Diva Bombs, EMP Shatters, and then sometimes just EMPs with a hard engage to clean that up, and getting good use out of that was really a big difference maker for them in that GOATS matchup.
Oh, there's some great combinations as well. Bowler Bowls hitting the shatter with the follow-up from Poi Ninja on the Diva with those self-destructs. Poi Ninja was in the kill feed a lot with self-destructs that weren't comboed with Graviton Surges, so that goes to show that Otter Oxide have a few tricks up their sleeve when utilizing those combinations, and I suspect we're going to see some of those coming out. We will be going to our next map fairly shortly, which is going to be Hanamura. What do you expect to see from both teams here, Suds?
Well, lately we have been seeing those bunker comps be very, very popular there on Hanamura, and it's always interesting to see the attackers play that little mind game of how do we get around this? Do we dive it? Do we skirt it and force them to upturn their bunker comp and move it somewhere else? And you have varying success with those things, so that's one of the harder things to do in these 2 CP maps.
Is indeed, and we are going to see a few substitutions here, but we'll talk about those in. I think Bird is going to be coming back in, so maybe some more DPS on the side of Otter Oxide. So might see some bunker comps here. Who knows? Vulnerables, I think, is going to stay in. So that suggests to me they might have a more dive-orientated composition going into Hanamura.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly possible. We know the Pharah has been popular on point A of Hanamura in the past as well. If Bird can be just that projectile all around, it's not unlikely to see something like a Genji or even run the Junkrat on the defense, who is very effective in those bunker compositions.
Well, we're going to find out exactly what compositions these teams will be locking in, because we're going to be going back into the action. We are 1-1 between Flashpoint and Otter Oxide in the grand finals here at Owlet. So I'm going to throw it back over to Hotori and Pulse. So good luck, guys. We're looking forward to listening in on this and watching the action.
Alrighty, thank you, Spaceman, and thank you, Suds. Great analysis there from our desk here, Pulse, sounding very, very good and making sure that they get that breakdown of both of the sides here really, really in. So Flashpoint here and Otter Oxide tied at 1. We're going to be going into Hanamura here very, very shortly. Pulse, who is your MVP so far for this match?
I think it's hard to pick, and it's like I don't want to pick one just yet because we still have a couple more games going, but some early contenders so far definitely have been Pie Ninja. I've been very impressed by Paco. I've been very impressed again by Brutal One. So I think those are some early ones, and depending on how this match swings, then we're going to have to figure it out based off that.
Yeah, so it looks like we're going to be going into 2CP here as our next map here. Flashpoint sort of reluctant to play sort of that sort of GOATS comp until really, really sort of forced to here going into Hanamura. Do you think they'll maybe start with a 2-2-2 again and maybe force themselves into GOATS here? They will be on defense first, as it will be Otter Oxide here who will be pushing here on in the offense. What do you think is going to come out from either of the teams?
Well, I remember from the Otter Oxide game last night that there was some... I can't remember if it was Otter Oxide or their opponents, but there was some trial and error type things. They ran out with I believe Mora Lucio with a sim to try and do that initially, if it's the correct team I'm thinking of. So they tried to teleport to point, do some bypass of the sand gardens out in front of Hanamura, but that didn't work. So they very quickly swapped over to that GOATS composition and performed very well with it on Hanamura.
Yeah, so both teams here are going to get ready to go. It will be Otter Oxide here on offense here, tied at 1s. So remember, folks, this is going to be a best of 7. So we're going into maps here where a tie is possible. So rules might have to sort of change a little bit because of the way the ties sort of play into this map. So, for example, if Hanamura ties up, and there is no actually team at sort of 4 maps at the end of 7. I think we do play an extra map, just really depending on the situation here. But both teams are now filing out slowly as the defense comes in. I am seeing a very, very interesting bunker comp coming out here from Flashpoint. I wonder if this was actually planned.
It's not completely absurd. They are running triple DPS on defense right now with that Bastion, Torb, and the Pharah. So you're running the pharmacy just so that Pharah gets the needed pockets, and they're having Paco El Taco pocket the entire bunker by himself on that Ana. This will put a lot of pressure at the choke and make it hard for the attackers to get in. But one of the things that's very good against this is you can just sim teleport behind this if you think to do it.
Yeah, so let's see if Otter Oxide can sort of figure out the puzzle that Flashpoint has given them here. So there is a lot of sort of spam damage going into that choke here as members here are sort of stuck on the other side. So Bowl of Bowls, Xavier, and it looks like Sakura here are on the other side trying to sort of figure out what they can sort of do with this sort of bunker comp that has sort of choke them off here from the entrance. So now they're going to just go ahead and rush in, use that defense matrix to see if they can push on Boots right away, and Boots immediately goes down. That leaves Piper wide open. So it looks like Otter Oxide here just going to use brute force to sort of push themselves in. Grumpy Kitten is able to get Pie Ninja out of mech, but more kills coming in here from Otter Oxide as Cristiano Ronaldo will go down here too. Paco El Taco trying to sort of do his best here on the Ana, but the two supports here from Flashpoint here are not going to be able to do too much damage, though a big grenade here from Paco El Taco will able to eliminate Pie Ninja, as Rainbow here and the Ana are going to be able to sort of try to keep themselves up, as Grumpy Kitten here is going to get grenaded. He's down to about 1 health. They just need to finish him off, and finally he goes down, but already in a tick and a half here, as it looks like Otter Oxide are going to be able to take this point relatively easily.
Yeah, and Rainbow goes in just for final stalls under the point, make sure that the rest of the team can get back, because the Mercy can set up very quickly. And I have to imagine some swaps coming out from this defense.
So defense coming in, Rainbow actually going to be switching to the Lucio, so more area of effect heal coming in. Paco El Taco already with the nano boost here, hitting some big shots early on there with the Ana, as the D.Va will immediately engage onto the high ground here, trying to see if they can sort of dislodge members of Otter Oxide. Whoa, looks like an ult here coming out here from the Torbjorn, but a blade coming up from Sakura. It's a nano blade, as the nano boost will come out here trying to sort of finish off Boots, but a nano boost here on the Piper, trying to see if they can stall the point a little bit, as Piper's going to try to swing away here, try to get any of the members here from Otter Oxide, but it looks like they're able to sort of survive, as Bowl of Bulls and Pie Ninja able to sort of move off the members here of Otter Oxide. EMP coming out here now, and now it's just Grumpy Kitten's going to have to sort of drop away, as Rainbow here going to get taken out. Boots can't get onto the point. They've gotten about a tick and a quarter here at 44%. All the kills here going the way of Otter Oxide. Big shatter, but Piper gets slept before he can charge, and he gets taken out there. Great play there by Litcat to make sure that the rest of the members on the point were saved. Ronaldo coming out here with the rally, just trying to sort of stall up, but kills still going the way here of Otter Oxide. Fight will continue as Pie Ninja takes down Grumpy Kitten, as another blade here by Sakura combined with a nano boost here is going to try to see if he can finish off Ronaldo. Gets him after the fourth swing, and now it's just going to be a matter of cleanup here, as Rainbow and Paco El Taco just trying to sort of survive onto this point. Paco El Taco here surviving onto that Mora, doing as best as he can to survive. Grumpy Kitten's going to get demeched here eventually and going to get taken out, and almost Cristiano Ronaldo will come back here onto that onto that brigade, gets EMP'd right away, and now it's just full stall here. Piper and Boots trying their best to just, in order to sort of stay onto the points. Graviton comes out, gets eaten by Pie Ninja, just one after another, just trying to move Rainbow and Paco El Taco off the point. They're in full stall mode. It is going to be another bomb coming out here, and that's going to do it. They had to abandon the point. Round one here goes to Otter Oxide with a huge time bank to go with it.
Yeah, Flashpoint do a really good job of stalling out as long as they can, but you can only last so many waves of ults before you lose the control of point B. So very good stalls coming out from Flashpoint, and they're definitely going to want to show the same level of aggression back, because that's a good time for Hanamura. They have enough time to do exactly what they just did again. So coming in as Otter Oxide, you expect to have a score of at least 4 if necessary. So if Flashpoint cap this, completely have time bank left, and you can go around, we see Otter Oxide have enough time to actually double their score right now.
Yeah, and this is a point in which Otter Oxide can actually sort of experiment with the defense a little bit, knowing they have such a huge time bank to sort of fall back on. They can play high risk, high reward here, and hopefully maybe see if they can sort of play something that would maybe stall out the time a little bit, maybe go for something that would maybe give them a point A hold, but instead here it looks like Otter Oxide here, we're just going to go with the standard GOATS comp and just going to play it safe.
This is exactly what they ran last night, so
yeah.
They full held last night. Why not do it again?
That's exactly right. So like this could be a map that just favors them very, very Very, very much so. Like now, Bowl of Bowls, and it looks like Pie Ninja's just going to be setting up in the garden here, as Ronaldo and Ronaldo will go up into the air with Rainbow and Grumpy Kitten here, going on to the Sombra and looking for that EMP. But I'm not exactly sure how much Grumpy is going to be, because they're going to be guarding that door relatively safely there. But it looks like Ronaldo there is able to sort of push the members back, so it looks like they're just going to hold on to the point here and maybe fight in this little room.
Yeah, it looks like they're setting up for this triple DPS dive. Grumpy Kitten falls very soon to the just Goats comp in general. Piper's gonna get a slam and get out, but they're gonna have to reset after this.
Yeah, Boots here onto the Widow here, maybe trying to sort of pick off some bad positioning coming out possibly from the defense, but there's got a lot of shields and a lot of health here, so it might be a little problematic to pick off anybody here with that Widowmaker, as a big grenade actually hit the members of Otter Oxide here, but are able to play safe, maybe play behind the bell, get into a corner, and get into an area where they're not going to be necessarily shot. Bullet Bulls again gets hit here with another grenade, but Boots does get a kill onto Bird, so that is a huge kill here, so one member of the defense down, as Piper here still alive, just sort of rolling around in that ball, trying to see if he can be a nuisance of himself, and is able to sort of get Pie Ninja out of mech here. Slowly but surely here, the members of Flashpoint sort of whittling down this defense here from Otter Oxide, but Otter Oxide just sort of happy, sort of stalling out the time and seeing how long they can sort of last here on point.
And they will eventually get this point just from sheer pressure onto the Goats composition. They're able to completely surround it. Ronaldo got a really good boop on the Rhine to get him out of point off the side, and without a shield, you're just going to eat all of this damage. So taking point A after a minute and a half, not very bad, and they have plenty of time to cap point B as well.
Yeah, they'll have an additional 4 minutes here on to point B. Paco El Taco, they're hitting some big grenades there, keeping sort of Bowl of Bowls and the tanks really, really low, as the health just wasn't coming back to him, as the healers just unable to sort of contribute anything with them being constantly purple. And now it looks like the members of Otter Oxide here have set up on the high ground, as Piper just sort of poking, trying to figure out maybe can he go straight to point, or does he have to sort of flank around, maybe do something, as it looks like the members here of Otter Oxide are just going to sort of fall onto the point here. Minefield actually gets dropped on the other side with an EMP coming in from Grumpy Kitten. Will catch 4, as it looks like the members of Flashpoint here are getting some really decent kills, as Bird here will try to sort of survive, and another big grenade there from the Ana. That was huge, and now no members here from Otter Oxide to be able to sort of defend. They're going to have to come out here, and they might finish this point faster than Otter Oxide did with 5:30 on the clock, Pulse.
They won that fight so cleanly that the defense didn't have a chance to get out at all. And it looked like Xavier was setting up to sort of jump onto point, but accidentally wall rode into a mine, meaning it didn't give them the chance to come out with the stall. So by finishing point B in that way, they have over a minute more than the time that we saw from Otter Oxide. Everything that I said about Otter Oxide now applies to Flashpoint, but even more so, because honestly, if they cap point A, that's going to be a total of 6 minutes in this bank. Every time you cap a point in additional rounds, you get some time to attack the next point again, so you keep getting increments of 30 seconds. And this is setting us up for an absurd Hanamura round, one of those rounds that you see go 7-8 or something like that, and I kind of hope it does, just because it's so unusual on Hanamura, but you never know.
Yeah, you never know here, and the thing about it is like a lot of the times it is going to go to the team that plays sort of the change. So like whoever tries to sort of risk it in order to sort of see if they can get an advantage to sort of burn extra clock. A lot of the times it's that team that will gain themselves the advantage here. But Otter Oxide here with 4:21 on the clock will have plenty of time here to attack point A and to seeing what Flashpoint is going to do. They're going back again to this sort of bunker comp with Boops and Piper here, trying to sort of defend. They've moved that defense farther back here, and they're going to defend in the back corner instead of the high ground, so not going to be able to get rushed here by Pie Ninja on that Diva, so maybe trying to see if they can sort of get into an area that's a little bit better for them to sort of attack in, but asleep early on Ronaldo, but Paco El Taco, again, just with the contribution, takes out Litcat here, but the members of Otter Oxide have already fallen onto the point, but Grumpy Kitten here is going to have to sort of jump on out. Cristiano Ronaldo actually gets taken out again here. Boots being able to fire, but doesn't have sort of a clear line of sight to sort of kill anybody, as the rest of the members here are just sort of happy to stay in the shaded areas and not be falling in line into the line of the Bastion. A grenade actually will come in and turn members here of Otter Oxide purple, as Bowl of Bowls was able to take out Rainbow, losing the Mercy here. This is going to be huge, and slowly but surely they're getting the kills again as Sakura gets 2 now. Grumpy Kitten getting grenaded, but the bomb coming out is going to be able to sort of stall it out a little bit, but he's not going to be able to get back in the mech, and that's going to be that. Otter Oxide are going to be able to take this point and get 30 seconds here additional onto point B.
Yeah, and they don't even have the option to use the Diva Bomb for their point B defense, so there's a real chance that we another Nano Blade onto side, get a big kill streak, and then just close out point B again.
Yeah, Bird didn't even actually have chance to build up the EMP. It only had 45%, but a Nano Blade here could be huge. Here comes Sakura with that blade, able to take out Rainbow, and Ronaldo goes down too. Oh, he's just being a menace back there. Piper's going to get the Nano Boost here, trying his best to sort of kill anybody that he can sort of find, but that Nano Boost is basically keeping him alive. Already a tick here from Otter Oxide. They just want to make sure they stay on the point here and make sure that they can sort of stall this out as best as they can. Rainbow gets pushed off the point, and Ronaldo coming back. They did lose one as Bird here almost with that EMP need to get healed up. Boots able to take out Xavier here might be the opening that they need. Bomb gets sent out into the air as people are going to have to abandon ship, as it looks like here Pie Ninja's going to buy a little bit of extra percentage. Bird gets slept, not going to be able to use the EMP, and there it is, wakes up from the sleep, immediately EMPs, but Ronaldo might have done too much damage here for the offense as Pie Ninja and Bird both go down here. It looks like they're going to be able to stabilize here, not going to be able to get it on the snowball, so immediately it's probably going to be wise of them to be able to reset here as Litcat and Xavier are going to have to jump ship.
But since there's no Zen on the defense, there's already another Nano Blade coming up on. They could easily open up next fight again if they do the same thing, as long as Sakura doesn't get stunned out of Blade or get solo shattered or anything like that. They have another opening if they want to keep using the same composition.
Yeah, and the thing about it is that Litcat has just been getting them so fast here. Along with Sakura here, they can just sort of go right now. They only need one tick. They've already started to build it up already. So here it comes. It's probably going to happen soon as Grumpy Kitten got demeched. Here comes the blade and a big shatter trying to come in from Piper, trying to sort of nullify it. Piper's going to get the Nano Boost again to try to keep him alive, as it looks like Sakura was only going to be able to get out Ronaldo, but now Piper coming back is unable to get anybody except he's able to sort of demech Pie Ninja here. They've got to be careful and got to be aware on the point. They got to make sure Rainbow's going to stay alive. Bowl of Bowls here, trying his best to take out that Lucio, but is not going to be able to do it by himself. He's alone here onto the point as Sakura is the only other person able to sort of help him here. Xavier starts to come back here, but I think this fight is already lost here for Otter Oxide. They're going to have to sort of reset here, and they know it. It looks like that's going to be that. 1:15 here left on the clock. They've got another 2 pushes if they're quick.
And we've seen Flashpoint look so good on these stalls, and every time they lose a fight, they're able to come out and just turn it back in their favor, even when things looked all but lost. That's how they cut off so much time from the time bank the first time. It's how they got control of it the second time. And now Sakura doesn't have a blade, they don't have the Nano anymore, and Bird doesn't quite have an EMP, and they don't really have the tools to clean up this fight unless there's just a huge misplay from Flashpoint.
Yeah, unfortunately here they're just sort of out of ults here. Xavier's going to use the shield here to try to see if they can win them that fight here. He immediately gets charged, but is able to survive. EMP from Bird might be helpful as a blade comes out from Sakura here into the background, but they don't get on the point. They gotta be on the point in order to stop it. They don't, so they do give up point B with some time left here on the clock. So Otter Oxide here able to sort of eke out that point B. 27 seconds here left into the time bank. Flashpoint have a huge time bank here, but even if they're going to finish, Otter Oxides here is going to get an additional 33 seconds.
So an interesting thing about 2CP is if you finish with under a minute left, you will always have at least a minute to attack point A. And it's because if the other team finishes with under a minute, then it makes it so that the lesser team has at least a minute, and it adds time to both teams' time bank. So it sort of does some time addition to make sure that there's always at least 1 minute for the lesser team on these rounds.
But here we go again. Rotating time, so it will be Flashpoint now here on offense with their massive 5-minute, 29-second time bank here. So looks like they're going in with that similar comp that they sort of charged in with. Maybe Piper here onto the Hamster, Grumpy Kitten onto the Sombra, and looking for that EMP. Possibly not going to be able to get it in the first round here, but they didn't have really that much issues here with with Otter Oxide, who decided to sort of hole up on point and just sort of bunker in. They were able to slowly sort of tick them down, and possibly what they're going to try to do again.
Yeah, but there are changes coming out from the defense. Instead of playing that 3-3 composition, they're running a normal 2-2-2 Ryan Zarya, but they have those DPS options, Bird on the Ashe and Sakura on the Genji, so they have some options to take down Grumpy Kitten, to take down Ronaldo on the Pharah. But an early headshot onto Ronaldo stops their push dead in the tracks, though.
Yeah, Sakura there with a great arrow there from the Hanzo is going to be able to slow them up a little bit. But it looks like just a little bit of poke as Piper got slept there into the background. This is not the place to be, as a charge will come in onto the hamster, but he's going to be able to sort of stay alive and actually going to be able to get away here with actually a pretty decent amount of health. So poke damage coming in from both sides. Piper's got to be careful here. He doesn't want to get slept into an area where all 6 of them were going to be able to gang up on him like they did. He was sort of lucky there to get away with it all. But now reset coming in here from Flashpoint. Piper here now going to the Winston pulse.
And Grumpy Kitten also made the swap to D.Va, so they are running more or less counter 2-2-2s. Both teams have an Ashe, so again, a lot of tank pressure coming out on that. If they can set up a dive for this, take an early pick, they have every right to take point A.
Absolutely. Sakura, though, gets another big kill here on Boots, is able to sort of get him down, but the res will come in, so it's just as good. But they do blow that res as Rainbow here getting a little tricky, trying to come through that little defense there set up by the members of Otter Oxide, and now they're sort of putting pressure here. Sakura again with another big kill, but Boot gets the trade off here, as now Trade's going back and forth. Bowl of Bowls here getting the nano boost, trying to sort of swing away and push members back here of Flashpoint, as it looks like they are going to abandon ship and are going to reset. That Anna's sort of trap here from Paco El Taco is going to get taken out in a big stagger there.
Sakura really has that home turf spirit right now, because Hanamura is the home of Hanzo, and Hanzo has been doing so much work on this defense. Every single time Sakura has opened the fight with a pick and just kept the DPS coming, honestly. The offense is having a hard time getting their way in, especially with all this poke coming out.
Oh, Bob makes his appearance known here onto the point here, as he does get slept right away, as the fight will continue. Now, second Bob will actually hit into the area and also get slept, so Bob not really going to be able to do very much, as it looks like the members of Flashpoint here are finally starting to turn the tide, getting a little bit of advantage, but Sakura is back, and Sakura is killing everything! Sakura takes 3 down here on that. Hanzo is able to take down Paco El Taco. Unfortunately, Paco El Taco takes Sakura down, but not before Sakura took the majority of the members of Flashpoint with him. And now with 2:48 here on the clock, Otter Oxide here looking good on this defense.
Flashpoint finally have some options to try and take this point a little bit more decisively. They have a far rush, they have a D.Va bomb, so they can make the defense evacuate the point while they set up for a barrage here. And Piper is coming in with a primal rage, so they have 5 ultimates online compared to only the Graviton Dragon Strike, but that is a strong combo, so they need to keep an eye out for it.
Yeah, Grumpy Kittens has come up huge here. Sakura getting another big kill here on the Piper this time. Bomb will catch Pie Ninja and Bird. They're not going to be able to use the Grav combo, as the Zarya is going to be taken out. So unfortunately, they're going to have to use the Dragon without it. Paco El Taco hitting a huge grenade, able to finish out both Litcat and Sakura. And now, finally, it is going to be the members here of Flashpoint going to finish off that point. They're going to have about 2:15, 2:20 here on the clock, but they do need to complete point B.
Yeah, a big opening from that fight came from, I don't want to say it, but it's kind of funny, but a big tactical feed by Piper to get everyone out of position. And opening it up with a sleep onto the Zarya to make sure they didn't have that Graviton Dragon Strike combo. They take point A, have 2 minutes left to take this, and there's a lot online for them to steamroll this, especially since they're swapping to Goats, but with Boots down, they're going to have to wait for that respawn to come through.
Sakura has been absolutely huge here on that Hanzo, and the thing about it is they have to be careful of those arrows coming out, because just one bad positioning move and you're going to get taken out here by a headshot here from the Hanzo, who's just been on guard here for Otter Oxide. Piper here just trying to sort of figure out where he can attack from, as the members of Otter Oxide have taken the high ground here, so Piper's going to immediately just sort of go onto the point, and the rest of his team is going to go along with him here. Litcat actually drops down in the middle of the area, but Bowl of Bulls and Sakura here able to take out 2 members of Flashpoint here. Paco El Taco getting down too, so their carry getting dropped here as Boots gets finished off. They're going to go for a reset here. We're down under a minute 30, about a minute 15 here left on the clock. They've got 2 solid pushes in order to take this point, but they absolutely need to, or this point will go here to Otter Oxide.
And now we're seeing the full triple come out. They were running the Winston before, but now they have a right to help make sure that their supports get in position without eating so much of this damage. And it's a little bit better against that Hanzo from Sakura. Blocks the arrows a little bit more consistently. You can flick the shield up and down very quickly. So they're coming in, get a big stun to start off this fight, but they just pull back and regroup.
Oh, as the Bob actually came in, Dragon comes in into the small area, is able to take out Boots and Paco El Taco. Bowl of Bowls has slept, but there's nothing they can do about it, as Piper had to charge the Bob away out of the choke, so he was out of position, unable to stop anything that came through. 30 seconds left to go. It's desperation time here for Flashpoint, or they're going to go down one.
They definitely have enough time to make one final fight, but they can't get stuck in this upper hallway. So instead, they're opting to go straight to point. They need to watch out for this rally, this nano boost coming through from the offense. But if they can nerf both of those and get them out of the way, then they have a chance to win it.
Lucio coming out here, but Paco El Taco got taken out here by Sakura, who has just been tremendous in this match. Oh, Nano Boost goes onto a Bowl of Bowls, but he fell off the ledge. This is not good, as it looks like they're going to be able to sort of survive a little bit onto the point without that Reinhardt necessarily swinging away at them, but a big charge will take out Ronaldo. Rainbow here trying to sort of survive on that Lucio, not going to be able to survive here. Grumpy Kitten, the only person left here onto the point, just trying to stall it out as best they can. Bomb comes out here. Bowl of Bowls will be able to shield, but Piper getting the nano boost here as a big grenade will come through. Dragon actually coming in onto the point here. Will Flashpoint be able to take this back? Paco El Taco took out Bowl of Bowls. Piper getting grenaded here. Not going to be able to get any healing here. He's going to get taken down as Grumpy Kitten still alive, but is going to get demeched as Rainbow comes back. But it's just going to be a matter of stall at this point. It's going to be cleanup time here for the members of Otter Oxide. They just need to make sure they finish off everyone. Lucio coming in as Bird comes in on her Farah, is going to be able to barrage 3, take them down. Ronaldo gets taken out by the rest of the Rockets, and Otter Oxide here will take the advantage and go up 2-1 here in this best of 7 against Flashpoint.
Litcat staying alive so long. There was so much. Both Anas from both sides were insane, but the defense, and honestly Otter Oxide in general, were always looking to take Paco El Taco out of the fight early. So by denying that Ana and making sure that she's not alive for the fight, the other side more or less loses all of their healing, or a majority of it, and you have the nade. The enemy team doesn't have the nade, so they don't have an easy win condition. And it was just happening all the time on both offenses onto point B from Otter Oxide. Litcat was just staying alive in the back. No one was really focusing, making sure that she wouldn't be pressured on that Ana. Just Ana wasn't able to be pressured from Flashpoint. But on the flip side, when Flashpoint was finally on their offense, Paco El Taco just had a target over his head.
Yeah, and the thing about it is they must have been realizing how much contribution Paco El Taco was doing in those first 2 maps. I mean, like, a lot of the win conditions came from Otter Oxide when they were able to eliminate Paco El Taco. So with him being a menace on that Zen, just clicking heads or hitting people with those grenades coming out of the back, it was just so devastating for Otter Oxide, and that they sort of knew that was going to be priority. And Sakura, my goodness, coming up huge there with those arrows, being able to sort of click some heads, turning that initial last push there into a 6v5, taking Paco El Taco immediately out of the fight right away, and just giving the disadvantage immediately to Flashpoint. But now Otter Oxide up 2-1. So this would be normally in the regular season when we would be talking about where Otter Oxide would be trying to sort of close up a match. But remember, this is a best of 7. So Otter Oxide here needs 4 maps. So they're going to need to be able to take Kings Row and the follow-up map. So it's not over, folks. We've got plenty of Overwatch to come back to come to. And now Flashpoint here with their backs up against the wall, going into everyone's favorite map. Need a big win here to even up this match between them and Otter Oxide.
And Kings Row is a map that we saw come out again last night from Otter Oxide, and they looked very good on it. They did shut out their opponent on it and win the series on it pretty much. They capped it, had enough time to cap A again to close it out. So I have high expectations coming through from them. They're bringing Brutal One back in, so they finally have that Widow player on their side again. But Sakura, Bird staying in, I gotta wonder what they're doing for their off tank. So I would assume Sakura is going back to that diva role, and they're probably going to opt for double sniper, or even maybe sniper and a Pharah.
Yeah, I think you're probably right here. Flashpoint opting to defend first here, as they are sort of trying to figure out. These are dedicated maps, so everybody knew the map lineup going into these matches for the grand final. So they knew they were going to be going to King's Row. Plans were probably set here by the coaches, trying to make sure what they want to sort of run on any of these maps. So just trying to make sure, I think Flashpoint here now with their coaches trying to see if they're going to be set. No subs here coming in for Flashpoint. Otter Oxide here have been subbing players left and right and just making use of their large roster, which is something that I think is going to play into their hands here, into the later maps, because they're going to be combating fatigue really, really well here. Flashpoint here with very little subs coming out is going to be going into the 5th and 6th maps, possibly just sort of like, fatiguing, and possibly Otter Oxide can sort of capitalize on that.
Yeah, it's always a possibility. That is the biggest benefit about running a large roster, is that you can give players breaks. They don't have to play every single map. They can go sit out, grab a quick bite to eat, grab some water, whatever they need to do in between maps. But again, just the downside to having that large roster is synergy. And I do think Flashpoint has been playing around themselves a little bit better than Otter Oxide, but they haven't really been making these adjustments. They've been going into maps with set strategies, but when things are happening, like Paco Taco getting focused, they didn't really change how they were playing. The tanks kept the same aggression, the peel wasn't coming out. And that's the sort of thing that you need to adjust and play for, especially in finals.
Yeah, absolutely. So like now with Paco El Taco going to get focused on a little bit more, it'll be up to the other players here to basically protect him. He's been able to sort of click heads and do what he can do here on the Ana and on that Zen. But as the map goes on, as Otter Oxide here are just sort of adapting and trying to figure out, Flashpoint here has to adapt also to the conditions here on the map and seeing what they're going to be able to do on this. So it will be Paco El Taco here coming out on the Zen. So Rainbow here going to be able to come out onto the Ana, but Grumpy Kitten here has to come up huge. It's got to be able to sort of peel for the supports, make sure that Bird possibly, or maybe even Brutal One here on that Hanzo, not going to be able to sort of come out and sort of take out the backline members here and sort of open up that sort of defense for Otter Oxide to sort of charge on in.
Mm-hmm. And with this defense coming out, they're trying an Orisa. This is the most bunker-esque bunker lineup I've seen coming out from them. They're going to do a high ground Orisa hold, and they're going to have a lot of pressure behind it between the Ashe and the Junkrat. This is a little bit bad for the offense right now because they are running a tank frontline heavy composition that is going to struggle a bit against this. So they need to get this big boop on Piper, which they did, and now Piper's out of position for the defense. They have to set up on point.
Yeah, and that positioning is going to be huge here. The whole defense was sort of set up on the fact that he is on the high ground here, so Piper is now trapped in the back corner, is going to have to be able to try to survive, but 6 members are going to be onto him as Brutal One is able to take down Books. Otter Oxide here taking early advantage of it. Piper just unable to do anything here on that Orisa, as Otter Oxide here just rolling, as Grumpy Kitten is able to finish off Litcat, but the rest of his team is down, and it's going to be an early point take here for Otter Oxide.
I was about as fast as they come, especially for King's Row, setting them up. Swaps on the defense come through to make sure it's a triple composition, and they're running with that Moira now. So Paco Taco unfortunately won't be able to get as many headshots as they've been getting on the Zen, but they have a lot of healing and a lot of sustain to just muscle their way through this defense, or through this offense.
Yeah, they're going to try to position themselves and try to see if they can keep that healing up and make sure they sort of stay alive through this fight. Ooh, Big Dragon here will send right down into the middle of the street here. Not going to be able to get anybody, but Piper here coming up huge, takes down both Xavier and Brutal One. Now they're going to be allowed to sort of push on in here and sort of push them right back to spawn, as the rest of the members of Otter Oxide here are backing down, as it looks like Flashpoint here also sort of back up behind the arch. They know the fight is won. They're just going to reset here and wait for the members of Otter Oxide to come back at them.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes you see a spawn camp coming out from the defense, but since the offense isn't running goats, they can just take fights at this choke, force so much pressure onto the Rhine, and as long as Grumpy Kitten's watching out for Bird, which it really isn't, but that barrage didn't find any value.
Yeah, Bird coming in, not going to be able to do anything, as the barrage came in, did absolutely nothing. I think he might have got stunned up there in the air, but takes down Boots and Piper here, as the advantage here definitely with the offenses. They're sort of coming through. They just need to sort of figure out the stall and get Paco El Taco and D.Va off of the point. And now Paco El Taco, stuck in the middle of nowhere, is going to get taken down here. They're going to get some movement here onto this point, as it looks like Otter Oxide here are going to force a reset here coming out from Flashpoint.
And Grumpy Kitten will be able to get away with both his mech and his life, so they'll have a chance to reset this. D.Va's not going to get stalled out. And there's going to at least be 1 or 2 more fights on B, unless they can win one very decisively. So Piper's coming in, they has a shatter, they're going to be looking for this, and they have a rally to help sustain them through this fight.
And speaking of the rally, Ronaldo actually comes out here with the rally already, so Piper going to be looking for the shatter, and there it is. We'll take a couple members here into the backline as they just charge on in. Rainbow and Grumpy Kitten get the kills that they need, and this is Dunzo here for Otter Oxide. They're going to be going back, they're going to be resetting, and that's the fight win that they needed to stop this payload.
The Otter Oxide right now is set up to take this next fight, though. They have the Graviton, they have Dragons. That's exactly why they're running this certain lineup of heroes, is because Graviton and Dragon Strike work so well together, and there's no Transcendence or any support ult that can keep the defense alive through that combo. They have a Beat. Beat doesn't work very well against it, though.
And here it comes. As they come in, the Beat will actually save a couple of people, but the Transcendence popped on the opposing side here by Otter Oxide here, trying to make sure that they sort of stay alive. Oh, a Shatter comes in. We'll catch Ronaldo and Boots as the charge comes in here from Bowl of Bowls. Piper trying his best to make sure that his backline sort of stays alive here, but not going to be able to do so as Ronaldo and Boots go down. Members here of Otter Oxide just going to press the W key as they're trying to make sure that they can get Rainbow off this point and maybe cap B here. Bowl of Bulls finishes off Piper, and Rainbow finally goes down here. I think the kills are too far back. They might be able to cap B here on that fight win.
It's going to be close. If they want to force a fight on point, it might be a little bit risky to do so. They're going to have to regroup, fight a 6, and just fight around that first corner, because I think that's their best bet right now.
Yeah, they've abandoned Litcat onto the payload here just to have her sort of push that, and they do get the point. So now the fight here will happen in the first corner. Big shatter again here from Bowl of Bowls has just gotten the better of Piper today, as down he goes too. And now this fight win going into the way here of Otter Oxide as they are rolling. They're going to be able to move that payload here past the first corner. The D.Va actually from Grumpy Kitten just falls into the hole and will be reset, as now Otter Oxide here taking a distinct advantage here through point C.
Especially with 3 minutes left. I was about to say 3 times left, but 3 minutes left on the clock. This is plenty of time to close out point C on this map. There could be a chance for a couple fight wins and a chance for Flashpoint to stall us out a bit longer, but with 3 minutes, it's just a matter of time.
A Graviton Dragon combo incoming here. Nothing going to be able to stop that. Combine that with a barrage. They just want to win it here, so it's just going to be a matter of whether or not they can get Grumpy Kitten out of mech and deal with Paco El Taco, who's coming in and just going to be surviving here on the spawn. They're going to be able to finish him off. Ronaldo gets shattered, not going to be able to make the point, and a great use of ults there from Otter Oxide. Plenty of time bank there, and they look dominant here on King's Row.
Very similar to how they looked last night. They have plenty of time for their next go at point A if they to do it. And this is getting a little bit dangerous for Flashpoint, because we haven't seen these teams play on these maps before, but just based off what we've seen so far and what's happening last night, it looks very similar. And Otter Oxide has a chance to just take this series 3-1 right here, and you don't want to be that low in the best first to 4.
Yeah, that's going to need a reverse sweep. You do not want to be in that position going into any of the maps coming up, because we will have a couple of challenging maps here following up King's Row, as Paris is going to be next on the lineup here. So definitely don't want your back against the walls going into a 2CP map where it could be drawn and you might not be able to get back into the match. So that's going to be very, very problematic here. So Flashpoint here need to at least finish. That's the first thing, but they need to finish with any time here onto the clock and not give the advantage here over to Otter Oxide, who has a very, very stout time bank of 2:45 here left. So they will have plenty of time, even if Flashpoint here are able to sort of complete the point. They're going to go in here looking like they're going to be defending here I think they're going to have Brutal One on the Hanzo, but it is going to be sort of a 2-1-3 defense here coming in from Otter Oxide.
Yeah, it looks like a variation of Super Kree, but with Super Hanzo, so that's not a composition I think I'd say, but with as good as the Hanzo players have looked from Otter Oxide, I can't say I'm shocked.
Yeah, absolutely. Is Brutal One here trying to sort of show off what he can do here on the Hanzo. We saw what Sakura could do, and he was absolutely fantastic. As Ronaldo here trying to sort of spam back the members here of Otter Oxide, along with Piper here, will try to come in and see if he can get a slam in, combined with the rockets here coming in from Ronaldo. You're trying to see whether or not they can just sort of out-damage all of the members here. Grumpy Kitten gets picked off into the bat there. Big kill there by Litcat, as the idea there was for the Sombra here to see if he can deal with anybody into the background there. Brutal One gets taken down here, so they lose 1 DPS as Boots takes down Xavier too, so maybe too many people going down here on the side of Otter Oxide, so it might be a matter of time here before the members here of Flashpoint here are just going to be able to sort of overwhelm them, as Sakura got demeched there by Boots again. That Widow coming good here, as Bulls and Bird here just trying to sort of survive onto the point as a rally comes out here from Bird. But a big grenade here will sort of stop sort of any healing that will sort of come through, at least temporarily. Ronaldo gets taken down here, and it looks like Otter Oxide able to sort of stabilize, but only with about 4 people on the point.
We saw Flashpoint start off with a good kill, a good demech, but eventually they're just falling one by one because they don't have the same level of tankiness that the defense has right now. They are running 3 DPS and only the Hammond. As soon as Piper felled, that was pretty much all of the disruption ability that they had, and they're just taking corners from all the DPS on the side of Flashpoint. They're finally coming into this. They have a Barrage, we have a Nano coming up, and a Valkyrie, which should be all the tools they need to capture this point, assuming things go well.
Yeah, as, Piper's got to be super careful here as he's getting super low. As the ults are going to be coming up, Grumpy Kitten slowly but surely creeping up to that EMP, so that's something definitely that they were going to want. Piper here going to get the benefit of the nano boost and will put the mines right in the middle of the archway, so not going to be able to sort of defend against that, as that bomb is going to get the 2 members in the background of Paco Taco and Grumpy Kitten weren't able to get back into the hotel, so they do lose 2, but now the fight will come in, and it's going to be up to Ronaldo here to be the hero as he takes down 2, and now it's just a matter of finishing off Xavier. Can they get him off of the point? Yes, they can. And now they will capture point A here, but it did look a little shady there close at the end, but with plenty of time here in the time bank.
The defense is also running full 3-3 now. Sakura and Brutal One being on those tanks. And if the defense, or if the offense stays on triple DPS here for too long, it might find themselves having some trouble because it's hard to run triple DPS on a payload map. Especially on one like King's Row, where it's such tight corners and the Hammond doesn't have the ability to swing around freely. So I guess they have to be staying on this just until they get these ults out, which they get falls instantly.
Oh, that was a big grenade and an EMP as everybody basically got hit there. Oh, but Earthshatter coming in from Bull of Bulls as he's looking very frisky there on that Reinhardt, trying to make sure that he keeps that payload from not moving. And now the members of Otter Oxide here advancing back towards the payload as the mines came out here from Piper, is able to demech Sakura, but they do not get a lot of movement onto that payload as they combine all of those abilities and don't really get movement very past. They don't even go past first corner.
Boots with the Ash now, so they have dynamite pressure as well. Not running the Widow, they swapped after the walls wore off. Grumpy Kitten finally making the swap to Diva, but it looks like Piper wants to stay on this Hammond for some reason, and there's nowhere to swing here. What are you doing, lad?
I think he's trying to see if he can be as disruptive as possible, but he's got to be super, super careful because he's just not going to be able to contribute as much as he gets another nano boost here. They must have a specific strategy for Piper to be on that hamster, as a bomb will be coming in from the Brutal One. That was coming in from Grumpy Kitten just to sort of stall that out. But it looks like the members here of Otter Oxide are able to just sort of hold on to this point. 2:11 here on the clock as Piper finally now switching over to the Reinhardt.
This was a swap that should have happened a couple pushes ago, but they have 2 minutes. They still have plenty of time to get a Shatter online, and they're slowly making these get over the a Bob comes through, who will provide a lot of extra pressure, and the shield's almost broken from the side of Otter Oxide.
Yeah, Bull of Bulls here is just holding that shield as much as he can. It finally broke, so they're now in trouble as Bull of Bulls goes down, swinging, as Paco El Taco now getting that blood vengeance, sort of trying to see if they can sort of finish off and stagger the members here of Otter Oxide, who've had to fall back all the way past point B as they wait for their tank to come back. That payload is slowly but surely moving up that hallway. Xavier here getting ready to sort of contest if necessary, if they don't get back in time.
But you gotta watch out for the 3 support ults and the Shatter coming through.
And as you say that, the Shatter will come through. Bull of Bulls doesn't actually get hit, doesn't hit anybody as a rally comes out and a Bob already back onto the field here. Transcendence coming out here, trying to make sure people stay alive as Bull of Bulls here, trying to make sure that the Bob doesn't contribute anything. Big Shatter there by Piper, and he's able to sort of catch everybody, but a Transcendence coming in here will save the members here of Otter Oxide as the engage will happen here right before point B. Bomb gets set into the background, but Paco El Taco able to take Xavier out, and slowly but surely here, Flashpoint are going to win this fight as Brutal One here trying to see if he can get any supports into the background. Bomb gets set into the air! Oh my goodness! Sakura will finish off the members of Flashpoint with a huge bomb! Takes out Grumpy Kitten's back. That was effectively 5 there by Sakura. My goodness, we're down to 30 seconds, and we're in final push territory here for Flashpoint.
The only thing online right now are dueling Shatters, and with Rainbow's sound barrier coming up, they have a little bit more variety in terms of support ultimates on the side of the attackers, but that bomb just might have won them the map here.
Yeah, it absolutely has. A Sakura there is able to finish off Boots. Bob comes in to see if he can sort of contest the point, but Bowl of Bowls was huge with a big Shatter, and Sakura taking down both Rainbow and Piper now. Transcendence coming out from Paco El Taco, but it's mainly just to stall the point here. They're in deep, deep trouble. Grumpy Kitten's going to get demeched, and down she goes. Overtime ticks down here, and a commanding lead here from Otter Oxide. They're able to take Kings Row one more, and they will claim the Miners title, Pulse. My goodness, that bomb from Sakura might have won them that match. You're absolutely right.
I think I have a new player in contenders for MVP of this match. So between Hanamura and Kings Row, Sakura just absolutely destroying Flashpoint.
And that was pretty based on the grab there that came out. There were really not that many members left there of Flashpoint to basically sort of finish them off, but that bomb did its duty and finish off all of those members there from Flashpoint. So Otter Oxide there on the back of Sakura's bomb is able to finish off Kings Row, take a 3-1 lead into this match. We're going to send you back to the desk here. Spaceman and Suds, did you see that amazing play?
That was a fantastic self-destruct at the end there. My heart is still going, Suds. I don't know about you, but before we get into Kings Row and all the craziness that was happening there, let's go all the way back to Hanamura, because that was a very, very tight game.
Absolutely, and I mean, we can stay essentially on the same topic here because star of that one was Sakura by a long shot. Playing the Hanzo there was just absolutely popping off. I believe it was on the defense, just shutting down these pushes with headshots onto the supports of Flashpoint over and over again. He was just playing so well.
And even on the attack as well, Otter Oxide taking the first point with absolute aplomb, moving on to second, and there was a bit of the stall coming out from Flashpoint. You know, they've got the spawn advantage, and we were chatting with each other when we were watching and saying, oh, maybe we'd like to see a little bit more target focus from Otter Oxide, because they effectively gave up about 2 minutes there to Flashpoint, where if their focus had been a little bit better, they'd have ended up with a little more time on the clock. But Sakura was coming in on the Genji, just blading left, right, and center, getting kills, and has been an absolute pleasure to watch on that DPS. But let's have a little talk as well about DPS, this time on Kings Row, because we were looking at the Pharah play, and Bird was absolutely amazing throughout that match. No mercy to back her up, and she was getting kills and kills and kills.
Yeah, just over and over again, and did not need the support, as you say, because there was just no contest coming out from Flashpoint. We were discussing between ourselves that we really would have liked to have seen Grumpy Kitten on that diva, at least just harass her a little bit. Here and there, you have to use your rocket boosters, go up there, get in her face, use the defense matrix, maybe your rockets, just put enough damage on her to put a little bit of fear, force her to start playing a little bit more safe around corners at the very least. But we just didn't see that, and so all of the Otter Oxide's resources were able to be used on the ground, and then in addition, they have that damage just raining in from above.
Yeah, as you say, if Grumpy Kitten could have been able to put a bit more pressure onto Bird, that either means Bird's got to take up more passive angles, or maybe even switch off Farah altogether, or the Zenyatta's got to start putting the Harmony Orb on there, and Otter Oxide have to start investing more resources into Farah, which is less resources for their Reinhardt Bowl of Bowls, who hit a few key shatters. Was absolutely fantastic to watch. And I love the bob play at the end, getting the bob to knock the enemy Reinhardt up into the air and then shatter comboing with that. You don't see that all the time.
Yeah, that was really good. And that actually came out from Boots and Piper on Flashpoint. It was the counter shatter from Bowl of Bowls that really turned that fight around again. Just that last second contest completely wiped off of the map thanks to that huge counterplay from Bowl of Bowls.
So, just going back to Bird as well, I remember play on Otter Oxide's attack on first point, where Flashpoint were running this bunker composition. Up on the high ground, they had the Junkrat and the Orisa all set up ready to go. And then Bird, just manages to send up a little boop, knocking Piper off the high ground. And that just allowed Otter Oxide to press W, go forward with their heavier ground-based composition, utilizing the Reinhardt of Bowl of Bowls to just go through Piper's shield and destroy them. So that one little cooldown ability, knocking Piper off the high ground, was pivotal to Otter Oxide taking that point. So there's a lot of little things that are going on here that have led to Otter Oxide having this 3-1 advantage. But we're going to be going to, I think it's Paris next, and then Route 66. And up until now, Suds, these teams have been playing on maps that they'd never played against each other before. However, they had played each other before on Route 66.
Yeah, you are absolutely right about that. We have seen them play in their first match against each other once against Route 66, and it was Flashpoint that came out ahead by a fairly large margin, 3-1 there. They actually completed that map. So if they can survive through Paris, they need to win it or at the very least get a draw. They're going to a place that they should feel confident coming up against this team.
Yeah, as you say, they need to win it or get a draw. It is best of 7 here. So if they manage to get a draw on Paris, that does mean they're going to have to win Route 66 and win Busan as well. And if they manage to do that and the series is tied, we'll be going back to Lijiang Tower, which will be absolutely fantastic. But got to go to Paris first. And what do you expect to see from both of these teams when we go there?
Well, the bunker comps have still been very popular as the defense on first point of Paris, but as we just saw, that was not working out very well for Flashpoint. So I'm not really sure. It's really going to come down to the attack, I think. And we've seen both Dive and Goat's attacks be very effective there, but that choke is just so difficult to get through on first.
It is indeed. And Otter Oxide been playing a really good 3-3 composition. Bowl of Bowls has been exceptionally impressive on that Reinhardt, but they've been switching their Zarya around quite a bit as well. We've seen Sakura on the Zarya, we've seen Brutal One on the Zarya as well, and I think we're going to see maybe a couple of substitutions here going into Paris. So mixing it up somewhat. They've got to be pretty confident going into this map, though, because Paris is one of those maps where first point is exceptionally hard for the defenders, because if they lose 1 or 2 players, it is so far away from the spawn room for them to get back. It just gives the attackers that much more of an advantage. However, second point seems to me to be really, really in favor of the defenders. There's lots of areas where they can set up a lot of opportunity to get different sight lines for DPS heroes, and there's some really good DPS on Flashpoint.
Absolutely. I think those long-range DPS are going to be essential, because you can even kind of set up some flanks on the defense there on that second point of Paris. Put the Ashe on one side, something like the Hanzo or the Junkrat on the other, and just kind of rain damage in from all sides. A lot of teams are going to run that Goat's attack there, and that really is only going to block damage from one direction.
I think Bird is still going to be on the roster, and I'm really looking forward to her Farah, because there is on the attack, get over the buildings on the right hand side if you're looking at the attacker spawn from the defense. So interesting angles for the Farah to get round. And as we said last time, Grumpy Kitten wasn't really contesting Bird on that Farah. So Otter Oxide might not even need to run a Mercy. So that's less resources you're investing into your Farah, more you're investing into Bowl of Bowls on your front line, and maybe Sakura on the front line as well. Because it looks like Pie Ninja is coming back in, and Pie Ninja has been playing not only the Zarya, but also the Diva. And they got a few epic self-destruct kills themselves.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We saw a lot of combos actually from Pie Ninja with the Graviton surges on Otter Oxide. And interestingly, from the looks of things here, we're actually going to have Sakura and Pie Ninja in at the same time. Both of these Diva players so far. Sakura also showing some DPS play. So we'll see how the compositions kind of shake out for Otter Oxide here.
Yeah, and speaking of Flashpoint here, Paco El still on side, a pivotal player for them. Fantastic on the Zenyatta, but also on the Ana. His clutch biotic grenades at times. And there's some interesting angles you can take up as an Ana on Paris when we go into it as well. So maybe we'll see a bit more Ana play coming out from Paco El Taco and some more biotic grenade kills. But I think we are just about ready to get into the game. The substitutions have happened. So 3-1 in favor of Otter Oxide at the moment. Flashpoint need to come in and either win this map or draw it to stay in the series. So we're going to be going over to our fantastic casters, Hotohori and Pulse. Take it away. I'm really looking forward to seeing the next few maps, guys.
Thank you, Spaceman. Thank you, SudsNBubbles, for your marvelous desk work. Yeah, we're going to be going into the next map here, and it is going to be Paris. I think that's on my list as the next map here, Pulse. If I'm right, it is Paris and Route 66 are the next two maps coming up here, as both teams are coming in with substitutes. As it looks like Flashpoint finally going to be using some substitutes here. Piper getting subbed out as Surfy, and as it looks like also another member, Heartbeat, will be coming in here for Flashpoint. So they are going to be coming in with some subs here, maybe changing it up here for the next maps coming up for Flashpoint, whose backs are against the wall here, down 3-1 here to Otter Oxide.
Yeah, I would hope that these changes do mean some changes for Flashpoint in general, because if something doesn't happen, they're likely going to lose this. I haven't really seen a whole lot of play on Paris, because Paris hasn't been a map in any of the pools up until this finals. And when that happens, weird things happen. And also, Paris is a very unsolved map. No one's really sure what to run on it still. It's only been out for like a month. Yeah, about a month at this point, like 2 months. And that just means strange things can happen.
Yeah. So, and this is a little bit of a new ground here for Owlet, because Paris, not necessarily, I think it was on the in the rotation in the final weeks, I think, of the league season. So not very much practice here between all of the teams here. Both teams here are getting ready. So Flashpoint here will stay here on defense. Otter Oxide going for the win here. If they do win Paris, they will be declared your minors champion here, as both teams here are going to be readying up. What do you expect to see out of these two teams on Paris? I myself have not played a lot of Paris also, so I'm not exactly sure what kind of lineups we're about to see here for the offense and defense here on point A.
That's a good question. Though in general, Goats is good here. Goats has been good on so many maps for so long, and it's been so practiced by a lot of teams that it's good by because of all of those things, right?
Yeah, so, just by default.
Yeah, just by default. Like, transitive property, it's good on every map, so Paris is a map, it's good on Paris, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we've seen some variations come out, especially at higher levels. And when that happens, you don't really know what to play in your ranked games. You don't know what to do in other stages. Bunker comp is popular on first point because of this very forward high ground that you can use to just spam choke with damage until someone dies walking through by accident. Second point, I personally like triple DPS even on defense, because the point was made for him and there's so many places to swing around and be annoying. by using triple DPS, you can actually sort of surround it and do some interesting stuff with a defense that you normally don't see on any other map. It is lacking a little bit in terms of health pool, but it's worked for me a lot of the time. We've run it in scrims a couple times, and it's fun to do, so I can't argue with it.
So here we go. Assembly time here already sort of done, and it looks like it is going to be Flashpoint loving these Orisa bunker comps, so they're going to be coming out. It looks like Surfy here, who will take over the main tank role here from Piper. Surfy played a lot of the last part of the regular season as Piper had to take a break, and did a great job actually on the main tank here. But we're seeing the pulled pork come out here from Surfy along with Boots onto the Bastion here. So very, very high DPS defense here going to be coming out. Paco Taco going back again to that Zen. He's just been huge today, but he was nullified a little bit in the last couple of maps here. And we see on the offense here, looks like it's going to be old school dive, Pulse. Dive with a Sombra.
This is a hack and slash combo coming out. They have a blade, they have an EMP, and they have if you use those three ults together, you should win any fight. The defense is running a full bunker, Orisa Hog, Diva, 2 supports, and a Bastion. This is going to be hard to break because they have so much health to get through. But if you can play corners right and approach this without taking a lot of poke, you can burst that Bastion down very quickly.
Yeah, and that's what they're going to try to do here. They're going to try to flank around here on the right side and try to see if they can approach that bunker comp in a way. It looks like they're trying to sort of find an angle, try to find a way to actually attack here as they've now sort of retreated a little bit. They see where the defense is set up on that little mini ledge that's overlooking the point here, so they have to be super careful, and they're going for Boots right away. That defensive matrix here from Ronaldo here trying to do its best, but Bird able to take down Paco El Taco there into the back might have just taken something that they needed really, really badly, as now Boots is able to sort of demech Pine Ninja, but slowly but surely they're able to sort of make do with what they have as a boop onto Heartbeat he gets sent into the Seine River, and now Pine Ninja will actually join him along so that he can go ahead and reset, but that was a quick take here from Otter Oxide.
That was a quick take. All they need to do is wait for Pine Ninja, and they already have a blade on. If they can take a little bit of poke without dying, they can very easily get that nano line too. Everything they need to win a very early fight on Paris.
Yeah, Paco El Taco's nowhere close to a Transcendence here. So if Sakura, who has that blade here, can get the combination of the nano here from Litcat, then this could be all she wrote here for Flashpoint. But it looks like Litcat's not going to be able to build it up so quickly enough. It looks like here they're going to come in. They're just going to go in right away, wait and like Nano Boost be damned. Is Sakura is going to be able to take out Heartbeat, and Boots gets taken out too. That was the opening that they needed. They didn't need that Nano Boost at all. Ronaldo here onto the point is going to get taken out as they are going to wipe out the members here of Flashpoint as it takes up fairly quickly. And wow, what a quick Paris here from Otter Oxide.
This brings me back to memories that we had from Hanamura. Just everything we've seen from Otter Oxide, they've looked so good on 2CP the past week or so, especially through playoffs. They've just been absolutely destroying it.
They've looked absolutely fantastic here. 6 minutes and 4 seconds in that time bank. This has gotten to a point here where there is so much time bank here. Flashpoint's probably looking at this, just sort of wondering what is going on. They know they're down 3-1. They need to at least tie Paris to stay in this game. If they don't, they are going to lose this grand final here against Otter Oxide. Otter Oxide looking very, very good here on the defense, and now Flashpoint have to come with an answer here, and they're going to have to be able to get this point A fairly quickly here. Otter Oxide can play for the stall if they want to.
They really can, and I don't see a reason why they wouldn't. This looks very similar to how Flashpoint approached Hanamura, which worked for them the first time, but they already made the swaps that they did to counter on Hanamura. They're not running on this map. They are running that Ash Hanzo, which is exactly what they ran after getting rolled by the triple DPS on Hanamura. So they're prepared for this coming out. They know what they want to run. They have expected it, and they're ready.
Yeah, they're absolutely ready. So Paco, Taco, and Rainbow have got to be super careful there in the back line for random arrows going to be coming through, because Sakura was just so amazing in those middle 2 maps there on the Hanzo, trying to actually make sure that they were not going to be engaging very, very cleanly. So here we go. Flashpoint here need a Paris completion here to stay in this match, as Ronaldo here on the Sombra is going to try to wrap around see if he can get into the back line here, try to build up some EMP here on the Pi Ninja, as immediately he's going to try to recall there, as 27% is all he was going to be able to do. Boots gets really, really low there, is able to sort of come back as poke damage here between the two teams. They see what they're running, and Heartbeat here on that Pharah just trying to sort of spam in that damage on the high platform. But Otter Oxide here doing a pretty decent job of sort of holding Surfy off, who was trying to sort of wrap around and is forced back into his team as Heartbeat gets taken out there by Litcat.
And they're having trouble making their way through this with only a single tank. Every time someone pokes, they instantly drop to half health. They don't have a way to get through this, and they don't really have a good approach on it. Surfy jumps in, but it's already at half health, has to retreat, and it's going to get sucked back and unable to leave. So they're already down their tank, and they have no way to approach this without someone dying like we've seen so many times already.
Yeah, and I think what's going to end up happening here with two sort of failed engages and Paco El Taco getting taken down again, they're going to need Ronaldo here to be able to get that EMP fairly quickly and sort of going to have to sort of capitalize on that. I don't see any other way there with them coming in. Surfy now going to the hamster here, maybe for disruption here onto the high ground. No, actually, we'll switch again over to the Winston. So back to the Winston, he had to sort of dump his ult percentage there, thinking maybe he's caught in between two minds as Bird and Xavier here get two big kills again. Ronaldo has the EMP, and now it's going to be a matter of time whether or not if Flashpoint can sort of capitalize on that fight.
But the defense has such a good ult bank. Like, in order to cap this, Ronaldo has to get a big EMP before anyone from the defense responds to it. And that's not easy to do. And even for that to happen, the EMP needs to come out, and it needs to be a very clean dive from the offense to take this point.
Yeah, and it looks like they're hunting him down. They know they've got to probably know that their fair idea that the EMP is up. They're going to be trying to look for it. Here he comes. Here comes the EMP. It will catch 5 out of 6, but it will cost Ronaldo his life. But the rest of the members here trying to sort of move in on that and see if they can make up the advantage. Xavier actually will pop the Transcendence here to make sure that his team stays alive as Rainbow gets taken down. That is not what they were looking for, as Surfy gets grenaded here. Paco El Taco able to take Sakura down, but trades going back and forth between the two teams as Boots is finally able to take Xavier down, and Boots here being huge, being able to take Bowl of Bowls down. So it looks like the members of Otter Oxide here are going to have to fall back here to the secondary point, but there were members that were taken out here from Flashpoint, so they're going to have to sort of regroup and attack again.
Without that main shield, it really gives an opening to the offense. But a Diva Bomb coming in, Surfy falls because it fell just inside of his bubble. With no main tanks on the field, this is anyone's game.
As a dragon will come in and try to sort of stall the point out. Nobody's going to get taken out by that, but Heartbeat here gets slept. Otter Oxide here have to be careful because they want to make sure that they do not sort of give up the point and still are on this point A where they could get snowballed relatively easily here. Bowl of Bowl is going to get the benefit of the nano boost here. They possibly might be just sort of stalling as long as they can. Xavier here finally just going to come in, going to die here on point, just going to kill some more clock. Pi Ninja again also doing the same thing. They're just trying to kill Time Bank here. They're going to get 4 minutes here on the clock, but they've given Flashpoint here a pretty decent ult bank to sort of attack point B with.
Yeah, by feeding all of the tank's health and a couple other people, there are 4 ults coming online. They just blew walls, but they still have that barrage that's about to happen, in addition to the Diva Bomb and both support ults. So they're in a very good position to roll this, as long as they can take care of the Ashe coming through, or the Bob coming through from Ashe.
Yeah, so they're going to be trying to the best they can here, just sort of roll them, make sure they have some time bank here. Up against a 6-minute time bank is going to be problematic. Bob comes out onto the field here and will contest, but Bird gets taken down immediately by Surfy as Heartbeat also takes down Bowl of Bowls. Ronaldo using that ult, trying as best as he can, but immediately Pi Ninja up with the defense matrix and rushes right at him, takes out Rainbow along with it here. So now Paco El Taco all by his lonesome here, by onto the point, and now they will be able to hold and kill some time off that clock.
They started with a couple early picks, but as soon as you start losing people, especially on pairs, because the distance between your spawn and point B is so large, you more or less have to win perfect fights if you want to be in contention for getting more than just a tick on point B, which they didn't really do. They blew a lot of their ults. They make a couple swaps. Ronaldo's coming out on that Genji now, and they're looking to set up for this next fight. Heartbeat still has that bomb though.
Yeah, as the engage here happens on the right side facing the offense, as it looks like here they're going to be taking that fight all out into the field. As it looks like the Winston here going to be ulting as Bowl of Bowls trying to use that ult to sort of disrupt that offensive push, trying to come through. Again, a dive coming in here from Surfy, trying to see if he can get into the back line, but he's all by his lonesome. He will have to use that ult here and try to sort of shake everybody around, as he does get Sakura there. So the Widow going down will give them the slight advantage, but it looks like here a nano-boosted Winston from Bowl of Bowls is going to get slept there into the back. Heartbeat gets 2 with the bomb, and now it's looking pretty good here from Flashpoint. Pine Ninja able to get Heartbeat down, but it is still advantage Flashpoint here as Bowl of Bowls trying his best to sort of hold on to this point. With 2 minutes here left on the clock, they're going to get at least 2 ticks here.
That's one. They're coming in with the second, but Xavier's coming out on the May to get this stall, so they have to target focus very quickly.
Oh, Ronaldo here with the blade will take out Bird here, who was trying to stall behind the wall. Xavier coming out here on the May is going to be very, very hard to kill. They've got to take him down super quick. Surfy's able to do that and takes Litcat along with him. Boots case taken down. Here comes the Lucio ult. Now it's spinning time here for the Winston. For the Hamster, as Pie Ninja got grenaded and taken out here. Flashpoint looking very good to have at least over a minute here on the clock as they do finish Paris, but they will go immediately back onto the offense with 1:30 here in their time bank.
That it's good that it keeps them in contention for this map, but that 6-minute time bank is very scary to look at your Flashpoint right now. For 6 minutes, when you more or less have to hold point A for 6 minutes so that you can force a draw on point B.
Yeah.
And holding on to point A for that long is not impossible. It's not quite impossible, but it's almost there.
Yeah, I would say that would be a Herculean task for them to do, because it would be the hold of holds if they were able to maybe get point A here and then just hold them off for 6 minutes on point A. But let's see what they can do here. Changing up the strategy a little bit, possibly. No, it looks like Ronaldo going back onto that Sombra. I find that Sombra comps are a little slower because you do depend on that EMP a lot, and if Ronaldo's not going to be able to build it up quickly, they only have a minute 30 here. The last time they were able to get that EMP up, but it took them at least about 2.5 minutes before he was able to get an angle in. They're not going to have that kind of time here, so they're going to need a pick super quick.
It looks like they will be running out on this Sombra Widow again, which I have to question. If they can get an EMP online, it should mean a win fight for them, but it's really on Ronaldo to build that EMP and fast.
Yeah, he's got to get back into that back line and either harass Litcat and Sakura or do something, maybe one clip somebody in that back area to make sure that he gets that EMP quickly. But he's already in position. He was just basically scouting at this point, so they're trying to sort of look. They've already burned 30 seconds off, but Ronaldo actually is going to go back to spawn and actually go to the Pharah here and going to try to see if they can take him out from the air. 55 seconds already down here, so they've got to go eventually, as they will switch to the Pharah here, as Surfy still has not engaged any of the members here from Otter Oxide, as they are still taking their time. They're going to wait to see if they can get a pick here, but basically they've turned it into a one-fight push.
They've wasted so much time on this without Winston jumping in and using the bubble really quick. Surfy falls instantly. So now this is just all staggers, and they really won't have a in this map at all.
Yeah, they were caught in between two mines here. Surfy, though, was able to take Bird down, but I don't know if that's going to be enough, as now Heartbeat, as Surfy goes back down again, Heartbeat here is going to get demeched and killed. 12 seconds left to go. Are they even going to make it back on the point? With 7 seconds left to go, remember, a draw will not help them here unless they're able to sort of hold them off. They don't get back on the point. They wasted too much time. Oh my goodness, 6 minutes here to get a tick. And that is your win condition here for Otter Oxide. My goodness, Otter Oxide have an eternity here to point A. Short of a miraculous hold, I think we might have a winner here in this tournament.
Yeah, this is more. It is also a best of 6. So because of that, I think they win just because this is, I believe. Okay, well, it is a best of 7, so it is going through. And
the iterations, yeah. Trying to figure out the math.
Well,
here.
there's a couple different reconsiderations throughout this, and we realized that it is best of 7. But I mean, all they have to do is take a tick. They have 6 minutes, 6 minutes and 4 seconds, so even more than 6 minutes. You can play goats, play for all 6 alts, and then just use all of them. You can play hack and slash, which it honestly looks like they're running out with. They have the Genji, the Sombra, and the Nano. So there are a couple things going through. They're probably just going to stick to their guns and do exactly what they did the first time, and then just win at some point, because it is so hard to counter an EMP Nano Blade.
Yeah, it really, really is. And the thing about it is they cannot lose a member on the defense. The defense here has to stay solid, and they have to make sure that they do not go down. It is not going to be in any way advantageous for them to sort of run back. And unfortunately here, like, if Otter Oxide can get a pick, it might be all over here, as Bird is actually just going to go straight to the point and possibly just decloak and see if she can maybe back cap it and sort of get it here. That's going to force the members here of Flashpoint to sort of fall back. Sakura is able to take down Ronaldo, and as I say that, there's that pick that they're looking for. So now it's just probably going to end up being a battle of attrition here, as Surfy and Boots here trying their best to sort of survive. Paco El Taco getting killed there into the background. Pie Ninja getting demeched here, but slowly but surely they're getting whittled away here. Members of Otter Oxide are finishing off Flashpoint here. All they need is a tick, and that is going to be that. Here are your Owlet minor champions. Congratulations here to Otter Oxide. They win Paris 3-2 and win the minors division in the Owlet tournament. Congratulations to them.
And a fake out play of the game from Bird. Bird looked absolutely disgusting on Sombra this round, just landing so many large EMPs. 5, I don't think there was a 6-man, but there are plenty of 5-man EMPs in this map. And they just look so good on 2CP, and that's how they won it so quickly, is because of that. They looked very organized. They carried through their momentum from last night, and all of the exact same map wins, mind you. And we're just able to catch Flashpoint off guard.
Yeah, absolutely, and it is going to be a title for the members here of Otter Oxide. We're going to send it back to the desk here. Spaceman and Suds, we have new champions here in the Owlet Minors division.
We do indeed, and what an exciting match there on Paris to finish this series off. And speaking of Bird there, that was some really, really great Sombra play. I stand corrected, I thought Bird was going to be coming out on that Pharah. She's been playing that Pharah so well all series long. However, coming out on that Sombra, all of those EMPs were crazy subs.
Absolutely, and the casters touched on it just there, but was hitting huge multi-man EMPs, and the follow-up was absolutely there from the rest of the team, be it Sakura, the tanks, or just clean engages off of the back of those, and they ended up allowing them to cap the first point easily a couple of times.
Yeah, it was really exciting to watch, but I think we may have one of the players in our Twitch, in our Discord channel here already. Sakura, are you in the chat here?
Yeah.
Hello. Firstly, congratulations. How are you feeling right?
Thank you. I was pretty confused on that Paris map, so it was kind of refreshing to actually win.
Where was the confusion coming from there?
To be honest, I don't really play Paris that often, so my DPS swaps on that map were really scuffed, to be honest.
Well, I know Suds and I were talking. I think Suds has got a few questions about your DPS heroes, so I don't know whether you want to go ahead with that one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so we initially saw you come out on Hanamura there and mostly run the Hanzo, which was just absolutely ridiculous from our point of view here. I mean, you were hitting headshots left and right. I guess what do you feel like clicked for you there on that map?
Honestly, I think actually focusing on where I'm aiming, as opposed to like when you play tank, which is my main role, I guess. You kind of play more game sensey and not so much mechanically. So sometimes when I actually play DPS, I take a while to get warmed up. But I think I kind of zoned out the tank mentality there for a good second.
No brain, all aim. DPS
Yep.
main, I believe is what they say.
Yup.
But yeah, speaking of tanks, we then had you there on King's Row running the Diva. So I guess what what are you guys using to determine whether you come in that DPS slot or the off tank slot for your team?
I think it's whatever comp really they feel is best for the map, and they know which heroes I'm best at. So basically, if I don't fit with the DPS role that's on that map, I usually just come in on an off tank, basically.
Fair enough. And you did mention some, you called them scuff swaps, but we did see you play a ton of different DPS heroes there on Paris. Spaceman and I were talking about it because we'd been very impressed with your Hanzo, your Genji, and then you come out on the Widowmaker. I think you were playing, was it Sombra yourself there for a little bit?
I don't think I played Sombra, although
Okay.
I could have. I play a lot of things, so I just play what they tell me, basically.
I like that. I like that.
Absolutely fair.
One thing I did want to ask, actually, going back to stage 1 and stage 2, you were even against Flashpoint. You know, they'd taken a game off you, you'd taken a game off them. What were you doing as a team to prepare for this grand finals matchup?
I think we used a lot of like VOD reviews from either their previous games or like that were streamed or our previous game against them, and figured out kind of what their tendencies are, what they like to run, things like that, and how we can build around that. And basically tonight we pretty much knew everything that they were going to run before it happened, just off of good guesses. I think that helped a lot.
So some proper planning and preparation there before the matchup, paying dividends in this series. What was going through your heads after our very first matchup? Because I believe Flashpoint ended up winning on Lijiang Tower, so you were behind a match. Did that affect your team at all? Did it affect the comms, or were you just, okay, we need to do X, Y, and Z, and we're going to get straight back into it? What was going through the comms at that time?
I feel like everyone kind of reset after that match, and after that win on the Rialto, I believe it was. I don't think I was in on that one. I think everyone's mindset just kind of clicked in, and everyone kind of played the best they have all season.
Well, there's some real major moments from a lot of the team. A lot of really good plays from Bird as well. She was playing excellently on that
yeah.
Farah.
For sure.
And also on the Sombra on the last match. Now, I thought Bird was going to be coming in and playing on the Farah there. Had you already decided you were going to utilize that Sombra before this matchup? On if you got to Paris?
We knew we wanted to run it on attack for the most part. The Canadian comp, the dive Genji Sombra. So, but our defense was kind of just audibles and picking whatever we thought would work. But yeah, we did plan the Sombra and the Farah, which are her best heroes by far.
Awesome. And before we wrap the interview up, are there any shout-outs you give perhaps to members of your own team, or even members of Flashpoint as well? Anyone that was giving you a bit of trouble?
Not really that I could remember, to be honest. But I'll call out Bird and Skippy, I guess, and everyone else on the team for keeping a good mindset the entire time.
Well, you certainly seem cool, calm, and collected at the moment. So, congratulations on winning Otter Oxide on the win there in the grand finals of the Owlet tournament here. Commiserations to Flashpoint, but thank you very much for taking part in the grand finals. It was a real series to watch, actually. It was very, very exciting. Some of the maps, I think, could have gone either way, Suds.
Absolutely. There were plenty of close maps there, and as we said, coming out of that first 2 matches, it looked like a barn burner, and it was a darn good match if we could ever ask for one.
It was indeed, but I think that we're going to have to wrap it up for now. So thank you very much for coming to join us. Thank you, Suds and Bubbles, for being my great analyst on the desk here, Hotohori and Pulse for casting this, and Direboyd and everyone doing all the fantastic work behind the scenes to make this happen. The next matchup is going to be tomorrow at 9 p.m. EDT, and that is going to be our Majors Grand Final, so make sure you do not miss that. That's going to be between Boosted, by the way, and Furious Unicorns. So make sure you tune in 9 p.m. EDT tomorrow to catch that. Thank you very much for joining us.